Hey everybody, hey Kevin. Wishlist the game if you haven't already. Wishlist. Actually, I'll just include this Steam link. All right. Hey Titanium. How were the toddler pile driving? How was the toddler pile driving incident yesterday? Did that all get sorted out amicably? Are we gonna bump all of this stuff down by one day? There. Tuesday is now a whopper of a day, but we're gonna start with the prioritization of tasks for Kevin, I think. Also, the cat's on my lap. Can you see her at all? Ah, yes, you can see little cat ears here. Do you see this? Hi, Abby. All good, no broken body parts, only a little bit of screaming. That's not bad. Sounds like it's probably par for the course. Okay, well, let's look through some of the tasks because, yeah, Kevin asked about this yesterday. I spent longer than I wanted to yesterday fixing up the rest of those skill tables. Man, reviewing that, it was like 70 files. It's pain and misery the whole way through. But hey, I want to show it off, so let's see. I haven't looked through them all completely, or well, I did, I think, but yeah. So now we have this style of skills, whereas the old style was something like this, where it's just text. But the reason we still have this style is because there are skills that have only a single point that go into them. So when there's only a single point, I think it makes sense just to have text. When there's more than one point, I think it makes sense to have a table. And yeah, everything follows that structure now. So that's what I did. And that was a lot of yesterday spent doing that. Not even just after the stream, but also during the stream. Chat just slowly died out. They didn't want to watch it anymore. All right. So we've mostly done this. I need to do this for town hall still. Ability balance. This organ was coded wrong. Yeah, we still have some balance stuff I need to do. We'll probably just file a task on this. Probably just file a task on looking at outliers in skills and highlight some of these like disorient. Oh man, figuring this bug out is going to be annoying. I wonder if we just nudge NPCs. No, they were getting stuck on it though. I think I know what's happening. I think, oh, you're repositioning yourself, Katsu? Okay, you sit down. Yeah. She's trying to like form herself into a little crescent roll. I think we're rebaking the path, the mesh, before the sign has actually moved, which is why characters are getting stuck. If that's true, it wouldn't even be a timing thing about characters being on top of a sign when the mesh is rebaked. Yeah, I use this tag to play. Almost set my computer password here. Yeah, but no one would have known what it was for, even if we could tell it's a password. Don't forget to remove that sign collider. I might do that for Friday, but I'd like to just. The reason I even added it, because I only added it over the weekend, I think, is because I thought it looked a little unprofessional for characters to walk on top of a sign. You could sort of be like, oh, well, the sign doesn't exist in the world, but then why is it a sign at all, I guess? So I'll probably try to fix it properly. I'm seeing if any of these things can be done by Kevin. This is one of them that can be done. Yeah. So Kevin tasks, and I'll file these and assign them. Items shown on the battle map need icons so you can tell where to find quests. I don't think this is high priority. Quest flavor text, enchanter text. I'll end the portal when you hover over it. I think this would be nice. I don't exactly know how we're going to do this. We may need to clean up the portal sprite for this, or we may need a custom outline as a hack. Not totally sure what's best, but yeah, I think that would be good. Violent issue about how the end of the game, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. If I vault description, notification bar, font. Need more sounds. Maybe we actually started the battle. Okay. Maybe a shader. I think I have a handy glow shader for portals. Let me take a peek. I'm using a shader already for the other outlines. So if you look at something like this character gets outlined properly, the sign gets outlined properly. The problem with the portal is, and I don't know how obvious this is looking through Twitch, but you can see there are some lighter pixels here. So when you try outlining it, it fills in some of these inner pixels. So we just need to make them. I don't actually know what we need to do. I'm not sure. Anyway, that's going to be part of the task, is figuring out how should either the graphic look or how should the outline look such that it'll look okay. And maybe we just delete some of these extra pixels. I'm not sure. Why is going back to the browser not working? There it is. Just like arrow pointing to battle map, we may want pointing to start battle. Still want 2 item displays at a time. That person need to be cut down. Traveling salesman, rare customer. Okay, this one would be nice. And I'm not sure what we'll do about this one either, but I think you can't drag from the portal. Yeah. Add to this that you can't drag from the portal because clicking immediately opens it. Adding Santa's a high priority. It was an idea that I had based on the sprites that we have. So I never would have thought of that sort of thing if we didn't have a sprite that looks like Santa Claus. But I think somewhere here in characters, for whatever reason, there's like a Santa graphic. It's not those. Where is it? Wait a second. Am I making this up? Oh, maybe we didn't add those to the game because they're also elves, and I didn't think the elves would have any purpose in our game. Hang on, I want to find this now. Character pack, sprite. Ah, yes, this, which I don't think we did add to the game. Yeah, there's like a Santa outfit and then a bunch of elves. And I like the idea that if it were Christmas Day on your game that we have a Santa rare customer, it's the kind of thing no one would probably ever notice, and it doesn't really matter. But I was thinking, what if one of these showed up as a rare customer as well? Hey, Blue Blue. Hey, Dark. What do you think about replacing the lines on the battle panel paths with actual drawn paths? I don't think those straight lines look good. Yeah, I don't think these should be the final lines. As far as actual drawn paths, I guess I probably need to look at what other maps look like. But yes, straight white lines I don't think are the best idea here. Hey, Smack. Why is Mrs. Claus so young comparatively? What I think is going on in these pictures is that they took other NPCs that exist here and just covered them up with Santa Claus. And yeah, I think they gave the guy a Santa beard, which is why that looks a little older, but I assume that they're just the the same young looking sprites that all the other ones are. What, we're live on Tuesday? Yeah, hey Reed. I want to put in a lot of time for the upcoming festivals and launches and stuff. Yeah. Okay. Probably worth tackling customer desires becoming trends, minor style improvements. Demo and make it possible to get 2 skill points. Still want to focus on new player experience, game intro, trailer. And then, yeah, maybe this or this, one of these two, I guess. Any extra time / energy. This isn't needed. Finish skill stuff? What did this even mean? Finish skill stuff. What? I don't know. I don't know what this meant because I don't think this was yesterday that I wrote this. But I did write this yesterday, so maybe I did write this yesterday. I don't know. I'll delete it. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Okay. All the rest of this is good. So I'm going to file some of this stuff for Kevin. Kevin, verbal instructions here. If any of these seem like they're annoying or you don't want to do them, then don't do them. That's totally fine. If all of them seem like they're annoying, then we'll have to talk. Hey, Quo. It's going to be a skill issue. It will be. Memory skill. All right, item tooltip should match the tooltips we see in town. Do we have something on this? Tooltip, improve skill tooltip. Make it clear they can respec. Oh, we've done this now. I think this is finished, right? Easiest or worst way is add this. Detect they've added a lot of skills. Probably the best way is making it blindly obvious. I think this is done now that... Oh, let me go find this. We added in a reset button somewhere. But heck if I remember where. I remember, oh, there it is. Last week. What day? How does this not ring a bell? All I know is that I did it the 8th, 6 days ago. Okay. Well, there we go. This, I did this in here by adding a reset skills button. Close. Are we live on Friday? Yes. Are we? I thought I would watch the entire stream plus 10 in my time zone. So just to give you an idea, the way that past launches have gone, at least for the alpha, is I usually start the stream at about 8:30, and then I take about an hour just finalizing things. So the game launches at like 9:30, and then I stick around for maybe like 4 hours total instead of 3, and then usually no stream after those 4 hours. So as an example of what time it is right now, it's about the time I would be starting the stream because it's about 8:30. So this is all the timing for Friday. So imagine that I just started the stream, but then I don't do an afternoon stream. And the reason for that is there's only so much I can really focus on the launch day. I'm usually tackling feedback and everything, but then also I've usually worked a lot leading up to it and want to take a break. I did actually just yesterday, I applied for the Twitch front page for February 25th. The Steam's Next Fest starts on February 24th. So I picked the 25th for a couple reasons, and they're not super important. But if I'm granted that, then that's going to be sort of like a launch day. We'll probably try to stream for like the maximum amount of time I'm on the front page for and try to just get as many people to wishlist the game as I can. And that's going to be some of the best marketing I can do because it would be free and completely within my hands. Assuming I get approved. That part's not within my hands. Yeah. Okay, take care, Titanium. Hey, Mars. And hey, Ayush. And now it crashes the editor when launching. Uh-oh. All right, didn't look like we had something on this, but do we? Tooltips of quest progress. Controller support. Create a custom tooltip. What is this? I think this is done. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is done. I'm gonna write this down though. I'll look at this later. This seems like it was done. See if we can close it. Yeah, I'm not gonna read the full context of that right now. All right, yeah, I think that's all good. Okay, so new issue is gonna be make item tooltips consistent. And now we need a picture. Okay. So the tooltip in the end battle screen looks like this. It is a loot item tooltip as opposed to the kind of tooltip that shows when you hover over an item in the town. Stop taking my items. I want to get a picture of this. All right. Make the ones in the end battle screen look like the ones in town so that the item names and flavor texts show. All right, this is really just a UI thing. And I'm going to assign this to Kevin. Oops, consistent. Consistent of typos. Okay, so that one's on. Outline the portal when you hover over it. Outline. Do we also want the texture in the tooltip? Yeah, I think it should look pretty much exactly like the other one. I suspect that task might be pretty easy. I hope so, at least. Highlight or outline interactable objects. This is still needed for the portal. We're highlighting pretty much everything else. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to just assign this directly to Kevin. I think it's really just for the portal. Whoops. Note when it comes to outlining the portal, we may need to change the sprites, make a custom outline, or find some other solution here. But in general, it should look the same to the player as all of the other outlines look. A solid white border. Okay. I meant the item texture shows in the... Oh, I see what you're saying. No, I don't think that's necessary. I know the current one shows that, but I don't really know why we did that. I guess just so you could see a larger view of the item. Oh, the cat just put her face down directly on my stomach. Problem is, man, in order for me to make a little platform for the cat, I need to like hold my legs in a particular position. And at some point, it just takes a lot of strength to do that. Like, this is not my natural resting position. So my legs are shaking right now. Another Tuesday stream? Yeah, I am too. If you're going through issues, can you click labels, user research, and check if they should be moved to the next checkpoint? Sure. User research. Is there a label for that? Oh, there is. Okay, yeah, my bad. Okay. I apparently didn't put it on the one that's actually named user research. All right. Shops. Let's see how items get stuck. I haven't seen this happen in a little while. I wonder if we fix this somehow. Did I write anything about how we possibly fix this? No. Item usability issues. I don't even think we need this. Instead of making workers wait with a picked up item. This would be maybe the only one. Borders of NPC dialogues. NPC buttons and dialogues are cut off. What? Oh, this is, I think, no longer a problem. I don't think this is a problem anymore now that we use new dialogues with padding. Yeah. Okay, cat, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, cat. We need to get you onto a different chair. Let me move this. I know. I just can't do this anymore. Come on, Abby. Come on, girl. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, no. Over here. Yeah. Oh, okay. She's gone. Oh, my legs. My legs. Oh, man. Wasn't even that long. What keyboard layout do you use? It doesn't look like QWERTY. Yeah, it's Colmac. I'm surprised you can tell. I mean, I know you could see if I type something like this that it's not, this is not where an N would be on a QWERTY keyboard or something like that, but you'd have to really be paying attention, I think. Anything else? Start battle UI consumes clicks in the blank space at the bottom. This doesn't even exist anymore. Okay. Need to get her a bed on a little table next to you, then put a camera on her. I should probably get a little bed for her. I like when she sits on my lap. I just need to be in a particular position before she does that. And even then, it's still usually somewhat uncomfortable. There are these chairs where you can sit cross-legged. Yeah, chairs like these where they don't have arms and they're wider. And maybe that would be more comfortable. I've actually debated on should I get one of these, but I don't know. I do like this chair. It'd only be for when Abby's sitting on me. Hey, Ashton. Okay, I don't know if any of these are super important. We only have 6 of them anyway. And yeah, what's item usability issues? Is the right click one? Yeah. Yeah, I think it would just be this. What is this? Feedback brought up an issue with workers running around town with a picked up item. Must be a problem too. Had 3 item displays. Items, workers on the other side of town. Yeah, I don't think it's important for checkpoint 5. I think it's okay to leave this one for now. So yeah. I think most of the issues are now resolved with recent UI changes and components like the dialog box. Yeah, I'm gonna do a search through issues again in the future. If there's anything that seems like it's super important, I don't mind tackling that sooner, but yeah, I think there's a lot on my radar already. I got a chair specifically for my cat like that, and the back is wider for him to sit on top of it too. When you say specifically for your cat, though, you mean specifically because of the cat, right? It's not like it's just the cat's chair. Because I think some people do get furniture for their cats. I just don't know. We've gotten her cat towers and stuff, and she just doesn't really care. We've had to return 2 cat towers at this point. And I'm like, all right, that's it. No more cat towers. You're just going to sit on us. A drag action can also be interpreted as a click. Yeah, let's assign this to Kevin. And get rid of me on that. Yep. It's my desk chair. He's the real owner. Gotcha. Pretty easy to tell because I have the same keyboard and you're writing the same words, using half as many movements. I see. Yeah, I really wasn't sold on Colmac, even after using it for about a year and a half. It was very recently that I'm like, you know what? I could finally see myself getting faster than I was with QWERTY. But I don't think I'm faster yet. And it's, like I said, it's been at least a year and a half. So it just takes a very long time. So you can't drag from the portal because clicking immediately opens it. Oh yeah, I have not done that yet. Okay, also note you can't currently drag by clicking where the portal is because clicking immediately opens it. Cool. Can't have one chair. Yeah. Well, if they sit on your lap and you're comfortable enough with it, I think it's fine. It's just, it's hard to be comfortable with something that weighs, somewhere between 8 and 14 pounds usually for more than an hour or so. All right, I'm going to assign this to Kevin as well. And this one, I think. Okay, note, I'm assigning this to you for now, Kevin. But I don't know if this will be easy slash fun slash appropriate. So feel free to reject it. Yeah. All right. And there we go. So prioritize issues for Kevin is now finished. And we can get to work ourselves over here, right? Yeah, this stuff's done. Cool. Took me a while to get accustomed to as well. I still suck at layers. The layers part I didn't find too bad. There are still some things that are a little bit annoying. Like if you have in your symbol layer something like an underscore, and then you have a nav or some other layer has a space, and then some other layer has numbers or something like that. You're trying to type like underscore 4 space, whatever, some other symbol. It's like you need to bounce between 3 layers for that. I find that still a little bit annoying. And that's why one of my big philosophies has been try to keep as many related actions in a layer as you can. So I have an underscore in the symbol layer. I have it in the number layer somewhere there. I have it in the main layer. I can't even remember where I put it now because I'm not thinking clearly. There. Yeah. Yeah, I have like 4 ways of typing an underscore because you need it in practically every context. Hey, Phil. Speaking of cat chairs. Oh my God, this is adorable. Oh man, what was the funding for this thing? Pledge 21,000. How much did they need? 5,000. I don't get this. You can't make a chair and distribute it to people for $5,000, right? Yeah, I wonder what the money was. Oh, wait, maybe it's just this side attachment and you're supposed to just attach it to a regular chair and it's not the full chair. I read nothing. I just looked at the cat and said, oh, look, cat. It's a perfect amount of pressure. Yeah, for a few minutes. But any longer, it's too much pressure. Did that with a period, but underscore is a nice move as well. Yeah, the other thing I do is I sometimes have sort of like reversed characters. So typically on a keyboard, you have a semicolon key and you hold shift and it turns into colon. I have one that is a semicolon. When you hold shift, it turns into or sorry, I said it backwards, but you know what I mean. It's a colon and it turns into semicolon. So things like that help, combos help. There's a lot of other stuff. It's just, I think the biggest thing is just cramming similar things into layers. Okay, this bug is a bug, but I don't think anyone's going to hit it, so I don't think it matters for this checkpoint, so I'll just file it for now. The Paladin's, what is this? It's with Luminescence. Luminescence ability can cause an error. Paladin's Luminescence can proc Radiant Retaliation, which uses Shield Bash, which is going to add an effect, which can trigger this. Yeah. The repro is quite simple and consistent. It is debug, add all of the points, click grant most things that a paladin can have and assign them in all of their skills. Then go to the final battle at greater than 7x speed. And if it doesn't happen immediately, enable auto battle or try a new location. Yeah, so the problem here is process effects. Like I said, we're not going to fix this now. It's in the effect system. And it's just a concurrent modification issue. Yeah. The problem comes from this line because we end up adding a new effect while processing an existing one. There are a bunch of quick solutions, e.g. copying the effects list or caching effects to be added. But I want us to look into what is best so that we never hit this issue again. It's probably going to be caching. Hey, Athena, Big Cursor Man is back. Big Cursor Commenter is back too. Let me write this down as code quality. Yeah. Okay. Do you stream every day? No, it's usually Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I happen to be streaming today because I have a lot of work to do. I know I'm mentioning this a lot of times here, but this Friday is going to be the version 0.5 launch. Then February 3rd is Idler Fest, and February 24th is Next Fest. I think I got the dates right. I definitely know this Friday is the V0.5 launch. So at the very least, we're prepping for that. Our audience for this is mostly you, just you, no one else. What I mean by that is a Twitch stream. I'm not going to be broadcasting this somewhere else, like, hey, Reddit, check out my game or something. It's really just for people in Twitch. Did I hear cursor? Yeah, but the other kind of cursor, not the editor. So yeah, typical stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and typically it's for like 6 to 7 hours. Today is going to be just maybe like 3 to 4 hours. I got to get a haircut. That's why. I guess I don't technically have to. I could maybe put it off another couple days, but I should at some point. All right. So need skills to be in tables. This I still want to do, but I think I'm going to do this in the afternoon. Afternoon tasks because I don't want to bore you all here. Unless there are like 2 left. How many are there? We've done that one. We've done that one. We've done that one. So we have 1, 2, 3. We have 3 skills. There are only 3 skills where it's needed. If it were 1 skill, I'd say fine, let's do it. But I spent so long on this yesterday. Oh, let's just ignore this for now. Haircut in this schedule? Yeah, I know I can't spare the time. Just gotta work on bugs. What haircut? He barely has that much hair. Yeah, but that's the thing. At this level, there's a big difference between this much hair and this much hair. All right, ability balance. Test that all the abilities work the way they used to. I don't want to do this, so we're just going to delete it. Disorient was coded wrong originally. Yeah, we got to write this down for some balance issue in the future. Also, I was debating, would anyone, I'll probably just ask on Friday, would anyone mind going through basically all of the tooltips and just making sure they make sense to you and that there are no typos and no, I don't know, and anything else you notice that's wrong? You just have to hover over all of these things for every single character and pay very close attention. I'll probably ask on Friday, like I said. I did review every file. I kind of ignored the ones where all I did was change text. So it is possible that there's some small problem here, but functionality wise, they should be identical. And if they're not identical, it's going to be very hard to notice that. So as an example here, let's say this says, move this aside, this says crit chance is up to 25%. If the chance were, let's say 40%, you'd probably never notice, right? Unless you're actually counting how many hits there were and then how many crits there were. So that sort of thing is much harder to tell whether it's working. But that's also not really a big concern. I mean, just changes the balance a little bit. All right. Yeah, where is the balance here? Checkpoint 5. Sure. Let's write this down somewhere. Skills, some skills may be too powerful. Good candidates to look at. The warriors disorient, especially on bosses. Clerics resonance. Witch doctors bursting horde. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's just leave it at that. All right, when making a shop, sign can interrupt paths. I'm not sure if we need to recompute paths or if we need to change the size of the colliders. If I'm not mistaken, if I just click this and then spawn in a whole bunch of customers and workers too, I guess, and then just speed this up, do they get stuck on this? They do, yeah. So then it probably is the issue I was talking about. In that we're rebaking this before we move to the sign. I thought it should be asynchronous so it wouldn't matter, but possibly it's triggered synchronously and then finishes asynchronously. So yeah, I think the fix might be easier than I originally imagined. Let's take a look at this. How does this work? On visibility changed. So the visibility actually didn't change of this. And it was only when we upgrade the... Oh, this might be a little bit tougher. Where's the upgrade function? Here it is. Builder upgraded. Invoke on update building menu. Reflect current building status. Reposition sign. And then update text. Where do we rebake the navigation mesh? Ah, right there. Yeah. Oh man. Okay. I don't know if we can do this then, huh? Rebake navigation mesh. We can queue another one. Needs rebake is set to true. Yeah, let me think about this. Like building calls that. Yeah, so what if we put this here? Town.rebake navigation mesh. Would this fix it? I need to add in like 1 billion customers. So let's do for I equals 0, I is less than some very large number, 100-ish. Create a customer. I don't know what the false is. What is that? Is rare. Okay, no, not rare. All right. I hope this fixes it. I think there could be a rare race condition now where someone gets stuck on a sign and never gets unstuck. We should have like 1 billion customers, right? Yeah. Okay, so I guess grant most things, grant some items, build this. And ideally they never get stuck anymore. It looks like it's working. Yeah, I don't see anyone getting stuck here. I guess I'll just keep trying to build this. It might have looked like someone got stuck, but they just idled there. All right, I'm just gonna keep building this. They're not really moving up here. I think we need more workers and more armors. I'm gonna just keep building and hopefully putting it in their path. Okay, this is stupid. I should have made a bunch of workers, not a bunch of customers, or maybe both. Create worker. But I think we fixed this. We need... Wait, it's built or upgraded, right? Yeah. We need to rebake the navigation mesh after the sign has been repositioned. Otherwise, characters could get stuck on the sign. All right. Well, I'm glad we found this. This is one of those things where, like I said, if it hits a player, they are probably going to get frustrated and just close the game. And the only way they'd know to fix it is if I provided some facility that lets you get unstuck, which some games provide. I mean, if you're playing an RPG where you only have one character and they get stuck, yeah, you probably want that functionality. But if you've got a bunch of characters, you don't want to press this button every single time a character gets stuck on something. Yeah, it looks good. I don't see anyone getting stuck on the sign anymore. Not too shabby. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. All right. That's all we have to do there. Fix bug with sign collision. I was rebaking the navigation mesh too early. So the sign hadn't yet been moved, which means the collision was wrong. And characters could get stuck. Done. I only just thought of the solution today, too. It's not like I had that in my mind already, so that was pretty nice. All right, this next one should be pretty easy. This is see if we can make a certain skill a little bit clearer what it does at a glance. So let's launch the game again. Let's close off all these things. Yeah. And the skill is mental swiftness, which lowers the cooldown on your other abilities. So here it is. Grants a 20% chance whenever one of your abilities is used to hasten the next usage of all of your abilities by 50%. To hasten. Yeah, so let's just type this out as text here. Grants a 20% chance to hasten this by 50%. Is there a better way to write this? When using, maybe when casting any spell, maybe, I'm just keep typing some things out. To hasten, well, if we do this, we've at least made it slightly more succinct. We use the word spell, which we don't use anywhere else in the game. At least not for abilities. But it is a mage, so it's okay to probably say casting a spell. But then we're using the word abilities here. What are the abilities you can actually cast? Fireball, lightning zaps, ice blast, and stalagmite. Maybe it could just say those things. Grants a 20% chance when casting fireball, lightning zaps, ice blast, or stalagmite to hasten the next usage of all of those abilities by 50%. That's not bad. This is actually longer, but I think it's clearer. Yeah, I think I like this. And the only reason it's longer is because we have long names here. If they were short names, then it would be shorter. That's not necessarily true, by the way. It could have been even without the names of these that it was already longer, but that's not the case. Yeah, I think I like this. Yeah. Okay, so let's go with this. This is gonna be fine, but the other change I want to make is anytime you highlight a skill, or anytime you mention a skill, that it turns into a different color. So, do we have an example? Yeah, here. Increase the intensity of lightning zaps. Lightning zaps would be in a bluish font or something. I think we might do that next too. Okay, so what do we need here? We need fireball name. Does it know how to do this? It doesn't. All right, well, let's just pull it from somewhere else then. Good. Okay, so fireball name comes from fireball. We want the same thing for these other ones. Should know how to do them all. Cool. Okay, grants a 20% chance when casting fireball, lightning, ice, or stalagmite to hasten the next usage of all of those abilities. Yeah. All right, there it is. Let's look at it in the game. Okay, did my chat break or has no one said anything for 13 minutes? This is quite bizarre. I chalk it up to Tuesday. Okay, now I do think it broke. It's normally someone would say something, oh, test successful. All right, cool. Yeah, no, totally fine if everyone's just quiet. Oh, here it is. Grants a 20% chance when casting Fireball, Lightning Zaps, Ice Blast, or Stalagmite to hasten the next usage of all those abilities by 50%. Yeah, there's just one tiny problem, I guess. This is a starting character. And having that much text and sort of cognitive load from an ability is a bit much, maybe. Letting me focus. That's very nice of you. All right, we'll add this. Make mental swiftness tooltip clearer. It's actually longer as well. I think it's fine in this case. All right, items that show on the battle map need icons so you can tell where to find quest items. I don't think this is high priority. Yeah, this is this task. When you have completed a location, it says reward small blue potion. And when you get a small blue potion in the town, you can see its name. But if you don't have one, then there's no way to know that this graphic is the small blue potion. So I think we should just add in the graphics here. And I don't even think it would be that bad to do, but we'd probably need to pair it with the name of the item somehow. Not positive though. I guess we could just put it in the bulleted list. Or just make sure we use unique items in there. But if they ever have animations, then that wouldn't work. No, we could still do that. I do want those graphics to exist. The problem with this stuff, it's not like it's hard to throw in an item graphic there. The problem is that we needed to have a certain texture or a texture filter, and we can't do that within a rich text label and still have the font look good too. Because there is support for icons and rich text labels. Anyway, I'll just file this as an issue. So item icon, do we have something like that? No. Item graphic? No. Okay, I'll just file the new issue. Show item graphics in the battle panel for location rewards. Okay, let's take a picture of this. Let's get it in context. I think this is good. Okay. Right now, we show a tooltip like this. While this is technically sufficient, it should show the item graphic as well. That way, players don't need to memorize names of items. Especially for quests. The only real implementation hurdle is that we need a texture filter of linear on the font and nearest on the item graphics. So we need a custom component here. Since rich text label can only have one such filter. Really too bad about that. Really just too bad. All right, I don't think this is very important. I think this is like one of those things we need before launching. But until we're going to launch, it's okay to just have the text here. Also, in the demo, we have a total of probably like 8 or 9 items that even show up. We'll probably flesh that out a tiny bit, but it's a demo and you're only supposed to have about an hour of gameplay and you can't work your way through 100 items in that time. All right, quest flavor text, we're going to code right now. I'll assign that to myself. Quest flavor. There is one little risk here with this. So right now, the quest text that we have is always the same and it's very boring. It is this. It says someone is offering, and then the only thing that changes is text in green. Small magic orb. If you collect the items that they want. I wanted to say something like, you know, someone is trying to kill a dragon and they're willing to offer you the dragon scale, and the dragon scale will give you those stats. Coincidentally, every quest item they offer you is going to give you stats. So I don't know how both a dragon scale and a sword and whatever else, how all of these things are giving you stats, but that part I don't care about. Maybe they all are just magic orbs in the end. So yeah, the thing that I said was going to be a little bit tough about this is figuring out what will still be clear for the player that it's just flavor text. Because we have some examples here. Yeah, something like this. Zog the Zany needs you to collect items for his pet dragon's birthday party. He's offering a sparkling unicorn horn. Yeah, suppose we have this text Would you be like, oh, I don't want to do this quest because this doesn't sound exciting to me or something? Because this is just flavor. In other games, there are functional differences between quests. Maybe there's a kill quest versus a collect quest versus a just go talk to people quest, or maybe puzzles or something. But yeah, not in this game. Offering a sparkling unicorn horn. Um, I like this. Yeah, let's hold off on the he needs part because that I think we need icons for, and then we're in the same problem as what we have for the battle map. Pet dragon, yep, not doing it. It never changes. Oh, the other thing we're gonna need to do is keep track of which quest is being offered. Okay, so need to track which particular quest is next. Maybe just cache it. However, saving and loading should probably show the same quest so that you can't re-roll by save scrubbing. Because we're going to generate some arbitrary text here. Then we're going to show it in the, what does it say right now? Someone is offering. Oh, now that I think about it, it could just be hard coded. Could be your first quest is always that Zog the Zany is looking for a quest for their pet dragon or whatever. Yeah, I don't think that's going to make a big difference. Yeah, sure, let's do that. We can just hard code each quest flavor text until they get infinite. Yeah, I guess that's the issue. When it goes infinite, we're going to need to keep track of which ones we've shown you. Maybe it's not infinite. Maybe there are just like 50 of them or something. Or maybe the infinite ones are just someone's offering you a magic orb. We could just pick a random name and always grant the same magic orb. Or not even pick a random name. It could be the same name, e.g., like Bob the magic orb collector wants even more items. Maybe it's a rival shop. Someone who's got a town six miles over, and they're trying to sell all the items that you're finding. I think that would be kind of funny. I kind of like that idea. Maybe they run a rival town, and the joke is that you're finding items for them to sell. Okay, I think that'll work. I think that'll be good. So now where do we put this? We must have the quest somewhere, right? No, it's only here that we start getting it. Yeah, generate quest and then set it. So up until that point, we're not generating anything. So all I need to know is how many quests you've done already. There's all quest data here. I feel like this should have the flavor text as well. Yeah, let's just do that. Public, static, read only. All right, what do we need for flavor text? We need the little story, and we need the item that's going to grant you power. So maybe let's make a record out of that. Quest flavor. So a little story. This is the backstory. And then I guess we'll say reward name. He is offering a Yeah, I like that. All right, so what happened here? I think I started writing something else and it got a little bit destroyed. Public static read only quest flavor. Flavors. We'll say flavor text. All right, so new some backstory would go here, and then the reward is going to be unicorn horn or something like that. Hey, accidental user. Public, static, flavor. It's echo coding. Okay, so there's all the flavor text. So how do we get the next flavor text? This is technically public, so we could just make it accessible on the outside. Why did we do things this way? Do we access this on the outside? We do. Okay, yeah. And then the flavor text at the end. So let's get that. Well, let's do that later, I guess. Okay, so quest flavor text, all quest data dot flavor text dot get within bounds, num quest done. Sounds good. And now instead of saying someone is offering, we say the backstory. So we'll say like Dazzle the Droll needs you to collect items for his magical puppet show. We're not using these ones, by the way. I don't like this line, but this is AI generated. And then I think just, yeah, so there's the backstory, and then say they're offering. Actually, the backstory could contain a period, just in case. Yeah. So it should contain the punctuation. They're offering, and then we'll say flavor text dot reward name. And then in parentheses, we put this stuff. We also want the color that we have here. And then we put this. Cool. And that's it. So reward object name isn't needed here. Yeah. Okay, so let's go do this. We'll put Q1 at the beginning of this and make another one of these. This would be Q2. Some backstory would go here. And here we'll put like dragon scale. And then the infinite quest. And for this, we'll say, I don't know, magic orb. Okay, let's try that out. Oh, we should probably put periods on this. Oh, well, whatever. I already hit build. It doesn't matter. We'll just act like there's a period there. Okay, so Q1, some backstory would go here. They're offering unicorn horn if you collect the items that they want. Accept. So now we complete the quest. Now we see Q2. They're offering a dragon scale. Yep, so now we complete the quest. And then we should see infinite. Yep, they're offering magic orb. We complete it. We should still see the infinite one again. Yeah, perfect. How goes development? It's going really well. You know, I attribute a lot of this to two little changes that I made. One is trying to sleep by midnight, and two is trying to make sure it's high quality sleep. And I think that's been going pretty well. And it's allowed me to be able to focus for most of the day. I mean, if I get too hungry, I think it's hard to focus. And yeah, toward the end of like a 6 or 7 hour stint, it's pretty hard. But at least for the 6 or 7 hours that I'm supposed to be streaming for, it's been going pretty well. All right, so now all we need to do is fill this stuff in. And I like the idea of this sort of structure. Hey, Tim. Wow, that was super loud. How's it going? Welcome in, turtles. Hey, Joss. How you doing? Hey, Grimtrex. I hope you had a good day, Tim. I don't know if I mentioned this last time. I think I did, but I tend to watch your like lead into the raids, and usually you're writing in your journal just before it. And for whatever reason, right before raiding me, you're usually like, "Today was not a good day. Let's go raid Adam." So I hope you had a good day. And maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just coincidence. I wonder if there's some correlation there. Anyway, for those just dropping in who've never seen the stream, I've been working on a game called Skeleseller for the last almost a year now. And it's a town management game where you hire adventurers and you do battle. And a lot of this is very laid back. You're not putting a ton of thought into the game. The battles happen automatically. When you win the fights, you get some items, and then your characters will automatically pick up the items and go bring them to your shops where you'll sell them and get some money and then use it to upgrade your town. So it's an idle light game is what I've been calling it, because I think typical idle games would have you eventually sell potions for like 4 billion gold, and you'd have like a million customers at once and blah blah blah, just be like inhuman numbers for all that stuff. Today was actually an amazing day. Yeah, well, I'll have to check out the raid VOD and see. Anyway, we're getting ready for some upcoming launches. So the absolute biggest thing that anyone could do right now to help out would be to just wishlist the game. I was pandering a lot for wishlist yesterday, and I think we got like 24 more. So I am very grateful for that. And I know that every time I say this on stream, there are fewer and fewer people who could go wishlist it, but it is going to be very helpful. Tim, what's your like launch schedule? Because I have not been following the roadmap. Right now, by the way, we're coming up with some sort of basic tasks we can do to just make the game a little bit better, a little bit more polished for the people who played on Friday. And I should write, we could maybe use the highlight that we use for quests, which is this. Yeah. Need to track which particular quest is next. Maybe just cache it, just hard code it. And then, yeah, rival town thing. So that's definitely what I want for the final bit here. To do hint that this is for a rival town and you're just collecting items for them. I don't know yet. Just working on a demo for January and February, letting that stew while I wrap up technical debts I wanted to wrap up in 2024 and slid on. I see. Yeah. I've never done a Next Fest before, and I don't know if you have, but it's exciting. It's the last time I launched a game, it was just sort of whatever hype I had generated through myself or through my network, and not like Steam generating hype for me to not compete. Yeah, it's kind of sad because even games that aren't in the same genre are still sort of in competition with each other. Didn't really turn out as hype as I had hoped. Do you have any advice? Because I've been reading a bunch of advice online, and I think there's some generally good stuff out there, but then there's some stuff that's either old or kind of confusing. So as far as the old stuff goes, they talk about these like stream slots getting boosted. I don't think this is even a thing anymore. I couldn't find any documentation about it. And then the confusing stuff is that if you listen to person A, they've got an opinion, and you listen to person B and they've got an opinion, and sometimes they're in direct conflict with one another, but at first glance, they both sound pretty reasonable. So I'm not still totally sure on some aspects of this, but in general, it sounds like the advice that I've read is like have as much polish as possible. Try to keep or try to like get to the hook as soon as possible. And yeah, like all the typical marketing stuff. So like make sure your page is clear and enticing, etc., etc. I don't know if it's the same. I did February 2023, and the big thing then was keep rolling a stream on Steam. Yeah, I've been streaming on Steam now for I think months, and I don't even read the chat. And I think the number of viewers, okay, so I originally thought, hey, 2 people are watching, like, hi people. I don't think they're watching. I think they're on this page and they have like an embedded stream showing up, but there's no audio or something. So apparently this is going to be the case even during Next Fest now, is we might see this number go up to like 10 or 20 or 50, but it doesn't mean people are actually paying attention. But yeah, what are your solid do not do's? I'd love to hear that. And then yeah, let's try to come up with some backstories here. Are any of these something I want to use? I think the first one should sound like in-world enough. Maybe it could be something like your potion shopkeep wants some potions for themselves. And they're willing to give you a gold necklace or something. I don't know. Silver necklace. Silver amulet. I think we need to make it clear this is not something that you can actually use in the game. It's just giving you stats. I kind of like the idea of it being gear that you might get. It just can't ever be something that it can't ever be something that we render in the game. Let me take a look. What do we have right now? Game assets, items. Here. Whoops. I opened it in Firefox. I didn't mean to do that. I'm never going to really use Firefox. Quit. All right, do we have anything that kind of looks like a necklace here? Yeah, these. Yeah, so I don't think we should do that. Come up with something else. I need some more potions. Bring me a silver necklace. Well, other way around, right? I need more potions and I'll give you a silver necklace. Don't hide a secret mailing list deep in the demo. I wanted to reward and collect hardcore fans of the demo and spent like a week on a campaign, reward, etc. And 0 people got there or took the bait. To be fair, my game was difficult and the demo reflected this for those rewards. Ah, I see. Did people comment on liking the difficulty? Like some of the stuff I'm interested in hearing about. And by the way, you certainly don't have to share this information. It doesn't have to be now. I recognize you just got done with a stream. But I guess like wish list count, like number of interested people who entered your community, number of people you had already. So like let's say you had 100 wish lists and you went up to 1,000. That's very different from having, I don't know, 1,000 and going up to 1,100 or something like that. It would mean that your own marketing is better. And then any other obvious, like you said, don't do's. The email list, I think what I was going to do is I already have these in the game, provide feedback and wish list. And after you beat the demo, it does say like, okay, hey, could you provide feedback now? I hope that's good. Basically launch the demo for or at next best time. So 0 to ... Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, that was another thing I read online. And I haven't even consumed a Next Fest, so I don't know what the UI is like, but apparently there's something like most wishlisted, and I don't know what numbers you need to be on that, but apparently the more you can get, the better chance you have of getting visibility, which then gives you even more. So it's very much reward the people who are on top already. 0 to 400. Okay, yeah. I mean, that's pretty great for just participating in Next Fest. Does feedback button go to Google Forms? Yeah, it's a Google form. And I'll probably make a specific one just for Steam at that point. Maybe 300 pending the actual date of that fest. I mean, that's still good. I think going from 0 to any number that's in the triple digits is nice. It pretty much shows that Steam did some work for you. Because finding those 400 wish lists yourself would be tough. Like I said, I think we're at 458 for this game. And that was entirely not through Steam, as far as I know. I don't know who found it through Steam, but if so, it's like a few people maybe. But it's mostly through the stream, mostly through probably the trailer, itch. And yeah, and I'm hoping this can go greater than 1,000, ideally greater than 2,000. But who knows? Got a lot of work to do. All right, so I still don't know what item they should give you. It's got to be something that sort of gives you stats. Maybe a fresh baked pie. I love this idea. Yeah, I love that idea. They're just making you a pie. That's it. Do we have? Yeah, all right. Let's take a look at that. Yeah. On week of release, I've typically doubled wish lists. Got you. Yeah. Yeah. You can only do Next Fest once for each game that you do. So whatever you learn from it has to be applied to your next game, which is a little bit sad. That's why I'm trying to lean on other people as much as possible and learn from what they learned. However, right before that, there is Idler Fest. And this is if this ever exists again, I assume I can re-enter it. So it'll be Idler Fest first and then Next Fest. And for Idler Fest, I'm guessing it's mostly the same advice. Like have a good game, make sure the demo is it hooks you immediately. Yeah. All right, this is a little bit silly because we should probably be putting this into quest data now at this point. Yeah, maybe flavor text is pulled from there. Well, we can still come up with a text. Still waiting for Racing Fest to come back around. They did that in like 2021 or early 2022. I guess that's the issue, right? Anything that targets a specific genre, they're probably only going to do once every like 2 or 3 years. And I guess if they did it this year, it'd be every 3 years. Steam only has so many top level genres though. And I don't know if they have the Steam Festival schedule published. Full list of 2024 Steam events. Tower defense, fighting, rhythm, space exploration, planes, trains, and automobiles, turn-based RPG. Yes, they did what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I guess 7, 8 that aren't Next Fest in half of the year. So they probably do like 15-ish festivals per year. But some of these get pretty specific. Like they have a city builder one that's upcoming, and they're very clear that like Skeleseller would not fit into that. They're like, just because you have city building doesn't make it a city builder. They're like, we want you to focus on where items are or where buildings are positioned, maybe even roads. Like you need to have this, this, and this. They specifically didn't want racing and automobiles. Yeah. Yeah. And it makes sense. It's like, look, if it is too generic, you'll get a bunch of people entering, and then it won't really help anybody. It's not going to help Valve, and it's not going to help the developers. So I like that they have specific ones. I like that there's Next Fest. I am very curious to see how well this game does. And I told my wife, I'm like, look, there are different outcomes that we can have here. One is the game gets almost no wish list. And I think at that point, it's like probably just stop working on it or release it very soon thereafter or something. And then there is like varying levels of success. Like the game gets some wish lists, the game gets a lot of wish lists. Oh wait, no. What was it? No, there was some other I think I drilled down into this a little bit more. It was like if it didn't get any wish lists, it wouldn't tell us much. But yeah, I'm hoping something happens from this. Wonder how the amount of exposure differs between category specific ones and Next Fest, since already released games can partake in the category ones. Yeah, I wonder about that too. The other thing I wonder is Next Fest is just going to keep getting more popular. Like they do it 3 times per year, and I don't know what their frequency was originally, but apparently in one of the last ones it was like 2,000 to 3,000 games. That's crazy. Like, how do you stand out amongst thousands of games? Now there were some little snares there. There was a game called Aloft. I don't know if I've seen this game. Co-op sandbox survival game. Anyway, apparently this game was in 2 different Next Fests, and people were like, "How is that possible? You're not supposed to be in two." And it's either that they were grandfathered in through the old Next Fest rules, or that they changed owners or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, people were upset about that. And I would be too. It's like if you could only enter one Next Fest and then a game that already entered it enters it again, and because they already got wishlist the first time, they show up higher on their rankings, that would be kind of a bummer. All right. I now realize I don't want to type these things in. Yeah. I should probably just take a break actually. But I think the other thing I was talking about doing here is potentially consolidating this into quest data. Consider merging the flavor text into the quest itself. Most of the time, the items that you collect won't actually matter, so it may not be worthwhile. Yeah. Okay, I'll be right back. Is it jump time? Is it jump time? Is this thing not hearing me? What is it getting for the captions? Temp tail captions. It's getting sometimes in there. Break, break, break. It's jump time. Okay, chat, have fun jumping. You can type join and then jump. I'll be back in a little bit. Hi again. Close the game. I want person-to-person collision. I think we tried that once. It doesn't work how you think. You can like stand on someone else's head and they can't jump anymore. So it's just you can sort of just stop somebody from being able to do anything. All right. I'm trying to figure out what direction we should go with this. And I realize that coming up with flavor text should not take this long. I think there are a few ways. And I always kind of look at it as like there can be lore, there can be humor, there can be just kind of like generic quest nonsense here. And yeah, it could be, Uther the Mighty wants to slay a dragon and needs these items. This is not really lore. I guess it could be in the world of this game. Maybe we even say that, like someone is trying to take on the ogre and they need these items. Do you want a prompt for those quests? No, no, prompts aside, like what do I want as the driving motivation behind having this flavor text? And I think the real motivation is like split up the monotony of having the same text the whole time. And in that sense, I think if that's the motivation, it's like it doesn't matter which one of these routes we go with. But yeah, hey yo. Um, and I like this idea, like your potion shopkeep. This is this is some like lore a little bit and some humor. I like this idea. It's just how hey the person who works for you is making a pie and it gives you stats. So yeah, I like that idea. I think we'll hold off on these other ones, and I'll just write the backstory for the rival town one. So what would be the name of someone who owns a rival town? If you're Skeletom, or I don't know, Skeleseller or something like that. I don't know what your name is in the game. But what if there was some like rival adventurer who turned into something else other than a skeleton? So maybe they came back as a zombie and people don't want to work for them. They don't mind working for a skeleton. I kind of like that idea. Yeah. So it's like, what would their name be? Got to be a vampire. No, I think people would work for a vampire. I don't think they'd work for a zombie though. Yeah, so it's like, and they'd have a regular human name though still. So Arthur the zombie wants some items for their town, and they're willing to offer you a magic orb. Yeah. This is supposed to hint that you're just collecting items for someone else's town, for a like a mirror of Skeleseller, since zombies wouldn't be able to hire adventurers, but skeletons can. I don't know. I like this. Hey, Ollie, I'm prepared. And thank you. Did the zombie used to work for the witch doctor? Maybe. Maybe. One thing I have a difficulty with some games is that have randomness is knowing what is just random stuff and what's meaningful to the game. Comes obvious as you play a ton of it, but as a new player, like I've sometimes found I paid too much attention to what was random noise. Yeah, for what it's worth, I don't know how many quests there are going to be, but it won't be too many. And this actually isn't random. It's like the first quest is always going to have this as the text. And then the next quest is always going to have whatever the next one is, and so on and so forth. And then every quest at the end is going to use this last one in the list. And they're not like super long blobs of text. So I hope it's not confusing. But as always, this is one of those things where we'll launch a demo, we'll launch a checkpoint, and then people will give feedback. And if they're like, hey, this was distracting, then we'd probably change it. So we need some more text in here, and I'll worry about that later. I think for now, this is good. We'll look at it in the context of the game. There's Ollie. How's it going? Thank you again for the raid 2 times in 2 days. I hope you had a good stream. I have checkout raids on my list because I like to see who raided me, what are they up to, but I haven't gotten to it yet because last night I spent almost the entire time working on the rest of those skill tables from yesterday, and we got them done. Every class in the game now, if it requires more than one skill point in the skill, it now has a table showing instead of just a single line of text. So I'm hoping this does a lot for the game. But yeah, I hope this was what, day 64 for you, if I'm remembering correctly. And that is a tall ask, maybe day 63. 69, okay. I couldn't quite remember. Yeah. But you must be liking it if you kept up this much. You got 31 more days, then you can do whatever you want, which I know you said it is going to be work on it every day still. And I hope you do. But yeah. Another longtime follower slash friend of the stream told me about some challenge that he's doing. And I want to say it was like 90 days of some kind of mental toughness. I forgot what it's called. But I wrote a calendar reminder about, hey, follow up with this person and figure out if they're mentally tough, which will be in March. I am curious about how that goes. I'm loving it. I appreciate your stream. Well, thanks, Ollie. I appreciate that. I was just telling my wife yesterday, I feel like I've been streaming since about 2015, and I took a pretty long break to go work in the industry again, and it ended just at the end of 2023. But I feel like I'm I'm happy about the community that has formed in what is now whatever it is, software and game development, and also sort of around this stream and in Discord and everything. They're nice people. I met a bunch of people in real life now. Yeah. It was some number play thing like 6 for 60. I could just check my calendar really fast because I wrote it for, yeah, here it is. All right, there it is. Happy New Year's all. I'm doing 75 hard. So that's all I know about it. I haven't really looked into it too much. Just starting, but I feel exactly the same way. Yeah. And it's nice. And I think, I was reading some advice that I don't really agree with, but I've been looking into these Steam festivals a lot. And someone said, man, it's a dumb idea to prep for these festivals. Like, you should just make a game every 6 months and not worry about the reception and build a community that way. And I get that building a game every 6 months is going to teach you a lot, but to not worry about the reception and somehow build a community, I don't know how those two things are possible. Like, who's going to play a game that they think, wow, this is really rough around the edges, doesn't have a lot of polish, but I'm really looking forward to the next game this studio produces? Wouldn't you just be like, oh, I wasted $5 on this game and I don't want to play another game from that studio because this is probably the level of quality I can expect? Anyway, it made me realize that, yeah, I think community is pretty important. Hey, Trackley. Started my first company 2 months ago, and I'm releasing my first SaaS product in 3 weeks. We have 20 businesses signed up. I'm so nervous. Only need 5 to go, so this will be fun. That's that's really good. Also, I don't know how I should feel. I think you should feel proud of yourself. I think it's really nice. Getting 20 businesses signed up is a big deal. It's not like you're struggling for customers, or at least not your first set of customers, and they'll give you a lot of feedback and they'll give you some money. Yeah. All right, we were going to test this in the context of the game, so let's go do that. So the first quest says your potion shopkeep wants some potions for themselves. They're offering fresh baked pie if you collect the items that they want. All right, so we accept the quest, we complete the quest, and then we go look at the next one. Arthur the zombie wants some items for their town. I like that. Maybe for their own town, I wanted to say. They're offering magic orb. Yeah, cool. Would I recommend my keyboard? I'm learning the touch type now. I would recommend it, but I think you should know what you're getting into. I have a lot of videos on this, but those two are the most important ones. And the first one just talks about the keyboard itself, what it's all about. So that's the most important one. And the main thing you need to know is that a keyboard like this with few keys will use layers a lot. So these keys are letter keys. Now I hold this, and now they're number keys. And now I hold this, and these turn into symbols. And now I hold this, and they turn into arrow keys and backspace and everything. And if that sounds like a good idea to you, then awesome. This sort of thing probably is a good fit. But then there is a learning curve even once you grok the concepts behind it. So recognize that it's not just buying a product and saying like, I'll just use this as is. There is a lot of customization you'll probably have to do. All right. We need to add more of this, but for now, I think this is fine. Yeah. And I just need to finish this. Add the ability to show quest flavor text. I only added 2 entries here because I want to think about the direction of the blurbs later. This is part of this issue. Why did that not paste? What's going on? Did it just freeze? No. Huh, weird. All right, pretty good. Pretty good. So I just need to do that. I think I'll do that this afternoon. Yeah. Add flavor text for more quests. And then close the issue. That sounds so overwhelming. It's not bad if you are intrigued by that idea. If you're not intrigued by that idea, it's just going to feel like a speed bump. But there are lots of little things that I think are nice about a keyboard like this. So let me pull this up. Where is it? Here. Okay, so I have a navigation layer on my keyboard. So this. So you can see the right hand of this keyboard has up, left, down, right. So this is like WASD on my right hand. So if I have text here, I can, use the arrow keys. Okay, that's really straightforward. That's part of navigation. We have other keys like page up and page down. The cool thing is you can put whatever shortcuts you use very frequently in the same layer, so you don't need to swap. So for example, when I turn this into a link, I'm holding my thumb down to be in the nav layer the entire time. So now I have arrow keys here, and I have shift over here, and I have alt next to it. So the entire thing I can hold alt shift left in this layer, and then press command K in this layer to make a link, and then enter or paste even still in here, and do all that very fluidly. So it's really just like shift home, command K, paste, enter, and I made a link. And it's like, that was, I think, fewer keystrokes than if you weren't using a keyboard like this. But it's the same thing with like new tab, paste, enter, or close tab, go back to the previous tab. Like there's a lot of stuff you can do faster because you've got sort of dedicated keys in a layer for it. Is it possible we'll see you building your own SaaS app live on stream? It's possible. I won't say it's not possible, but I don't think it's likely in the next 2 years. I think I'll probably stick to game dev for a while. I've got my 2025 plans actually in a 2025 command. And in short, it's see if Skeleseller does well. If it doesn't, then work on an organization course and try to sell that. Okay, so we're done with that. Next up, enchanter text could be clearer on what a spell crystal is. From the user's point of view, the mana crystal looks like a spell crystal. Maybe just nudge the player to try clicking a spell book. Yeah, my friend played this over the weekend, and she just didn't ever really cast a spell. And she wanted to many times, but she was like, I'm a little confused by this. So I need to make this more appealing somehow. Hi, I'm the enchanter. I can cast spells that will affect various parts of your town. Click one of the spell books to cast a spell. This takes mana from the rainbow crystal and fills a gray crystal. Yeah. You can have multiple copies of the same spell active at once. Their effects will combine. This requires multiple... I'll just call them... I'll call them spell crystals, and I'll say gray to make it clearer. There. That might be all it takes. Botland failed course. Join Google. Yes, we have seen that. And thank you, Kevin. I will take a look. Yeah, the thing is, I look at the organization course as being like a magnum opus. A lot of people who come through the stream say that I'm pretty organized, and I try to take an effort about it and think about it and think of how I can improve this stuff. So I think I have a lot of advice I could give. And I think I could make it like a premium course, like a $50 or $100 cost sort of thing. But I don't know. And AI is changing all this stuff anyway. So if I don't do it this year, I feel like I'll just never do it. The cycle's almost complete. Fail in another game, make another course, fail at that. Just one series of failures in my life. Start my own show. Okay, let's see if this looks good. I think this might be all it takes. I think just indicating the color will make it clear that that is a spell crystal. I don't want you to think that that gray is modifying spell. If you trust someone's grammar, you'll know they would have hyphenated it if they wanted that to be the case. But if you don't, then you might just misinterpret it. Possibly a minor issue. But yeah, let's read this text now. So, hi, I'm the enchanter. I can cast spells that will affect various parts of your town. Click one of the spell books to cast a spell. This takes mana from the rainbow crystal and fills a gray spell crystal. You know what would be nice is actually showing a picture of what happens there. You can have multiple copies of the same spell active at once. Their effects will combine. This requires multiple gray spell crystals, which cost money to build. Yeah, I think it's good. And then maybe we should just say like try one now. So you click this and actually see it in action. Because that's all you need to do. I think that'll make it clear. That closes the loop on this. Pokemon selection scene vibes. Do you want the Bulbasaur book? Do you want the Charmander book? Yeah, maybe we put /n/n. Try casting a spell now. What does greeting number 1 say? Enchanter, I can cast spells that will affect. Well, it says I can cast spells. Try casting a spell now by clicking a spell book. Yeah, I think that's it. That might be too much text. I'd be surprised if it fails, to be honest. I know so many people would sink many hours into this. I appreciate that, Phil Gear. I think that a game's promise is sometimes different from the actual game. So how many games have launched that said they would be the next whatever, and then they didn't turn out to be that, or they changed enough from when they were in alpha to when they launched, or it was supposed to be a fun game and then just never materialized because of bugs or something. There was some game, oh man, I don't remember what it was, but it was like Terraria, and there was some concept of like you automate the villagers, I think. It was not Necess, but it was some other game, and it only ever had mixed reviews on Steam, and that stopped me from getting it. And I read these reviews, and they're just like, man, half this stuff doesn't work. Like, I don't know if the dev disappeared or if they continued working on it. I wish I remembered what the game was actually called to see what happened with it. Can we find it? Terraria-like games on Steam. Similar items, Terraria. Where is it? I mean, I don't think it's doing very well, so I think it would not show up here. Yeah, I don't know how to find it. What do they even call these kinds of games? Like just sandbox, open world, simulation, multiplayer, base building. If we search base building, does it show up? I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this. I just want to see if I can find it really quickly. Because I am curious, and I also wanted to see to kind of make this point. I wonder if you'd sort by bad reviews. No, oh, it's not worth it. Fine. Anyway, that's what I was getting at though, is that that game sounded cool. I was looking forward to it, and it doesn't exactly pan out. All right, did I get this to work? Yeah, and we'll just put an exclamation mark at the end. All right, made it a little bit longer. Hopefully clarify the enchanter's text. My friend who played last Saturday read the spells several times without actually casting one. I'm hoping this will make it clearer how the system works and nudge you to try it. Oh yeah, probably a bit difficult, but you could highlight the crystals in the background somehow to make it extra obvious. Like I said, I think if someone clicks it, they'll just realize how this works. Like you click this and you're like, oh, that turned green. And then you hover over it and it says, there's a timer now saying like, oh, I see that the time is going down and my mana is going up. So you realize this is a renewable resource. And I know there's a jittering here that's going to be fixed in the next Godot version. And you realize there's some benefit that you're getting. And I think that's it. As soon as you click one of these, it'll be obvious. If you add another spell crystal, then ideally, oh, I can't even afford it. All right, if you add more spell crystals, you can cast more of these. And then eventually we'll probably have an upgrade system for this that lets you get more mana or get more something. I don't know. It wasn't Starbound, but that's a good guess. It was in the same vein. Like I said, I can't remember, and I didn't actually play the game. But I think one of the big features was supposed to be that you could assign villagers to do tasks like you can in Necess. But I don't remember more than that. I don't think you'll get genre fatigue. You might want to look into whether the art style is appealing enough on the surface, because first impressions are super important. Yeah, well, Phil Kira, I will say this. There's been pretty decent feedback on the art, but also at this point, there's no way we can change all of the artwork. And by the way, even the artwork that's there is getting better. So take a look at this. We now have, sorry, this battle's going to be too fast for you to actually watch. Let's look at this one. All right, so we now have casting animations. So like if you watch the mage cast a spell here, you'll see a different animation. The archer actually like fires their bow. The rogue has a cloaking animation. So even those things are getting better. But yeah, there's only so much we can do along those lines before just drastically changing the art style, I think. Now I can't imagine any new games. Is there any science behind your imagination changing over the course of your life? Like, does your imagination get worse? Okay, I think this is looking good. Yeah, probably. Well, even if it doesn't happen due to some natural process, it might be an unnatural process that we're on social media more, or we're on phones or something, and it's lowering our attention span, or we're constantly entertained, so we don't have as much time to just think about stuff. I bet, actually, I guess there was, what was that book? Bored and Brilliant. I think there might be some correlation between that. How spacing out can unlock your most productive and creative self. Unfortunately, I did not finish reading this because I was very bored by this book. Quite ironic. But the general sentiment behind this was like, try to be bored more often if you want to be creative, because you need space to think. Hey, Carlos. I almost said Caleb. Hey, Carlos. Ability to dream gets worse. Your ability to remember is also hindered. The memory part makes sense, and I've heard of that. The dreaming, I did not realize. Yeah. There's another thing that I've heard from really any creative field, but I think composers is where I heard this the most, which is that you can't wait for inspiration. I think most creative people will experience some inspiration at some point in their lives, and they'll make something great and cool. But like you can't count on that. It might happen once a year. It might happen once every 5 years or something. So it's like you need to just work on your creativity. You need to still produce stuff and find some way to come up with ideas. It's like imagine if an author just stopped writing every time they got writer's block. They'd probably just never get done with the book. Clarify in warehouse sign text that items will immediately spawn in the warehouse rather than on the ground. Okay, this is a pretty clear win, and it should be easy to do. If we show the sign before you build this, all it says is allows you to store items without them disappearing. Allows you to store items. But what we need to say is also causes items to spawn in the warehouse immediately, as opposed to on the ground. I'll say if there's space. Okay, let's look at that in the game, because that might look stupid. I should stop watching this shirt guy. But wait, no, this is boring. You're being creative. If you're interested, the book Why We Sleep goes very deep on this topic. I did read most of that book. And I think of it as a self-help book. And I think of self-help books as, I've shared this in the past, I think of them being a very tiny message and then a whole lot of medicine. And if you don't immediately resonate with the message and you're like, yep, I need to go sleep, I need to focus on this, then the medicine is there to convince you. So yeah, about halfway through or something, I'm like, all right, I'm convinced. What is that? Is that one dark color scheme? I believe so. Yeah, Adam one dark vivid. All right, let's take a look at the sign now. Allows you to store items without them disappearing. Also causes items to spawn in the warehouse if there's space, as opposed to on the ground. I think that's clearer. Yeah. Okay. Clarify warehouse sign. My friend who played last Saturday said she would have bought the warehouse if she had known that items would spawn directly inside of it. So now the sign says that. Like I said, pretty easy win. These are little things that you probably take for granted as a player of the game. Like, yeah, of course the sign would have always said this. That's what the thing does, right? But it took us having some feedback to realize that, oh, this is what's going to convince some people to get it. Also, she hadn't bought the garbage slime in the game. And I asked her at one point, I'm like, it was only 1 gold. Like, what if we had made it 0 gold? And she said, if I'm not convinced that I need a thing, I'm not going to buy it, regardless of how much gold it is. So when she saw her items start disappearing, the ones on the ground, she's like, oh, I should get the garbage slime now. And then she did. And she used it a little bit. She didn't use it nearly as much as the friend who played the week before, who was almost exclusively using it. This is probably going to pop up twice. Yeah, I just want to stop that from happening. There we go. Hey, Grace, it's going well. Today's a little bit slower of a day, and I wasn't really planning on streaming on Sunday today, but at the end of yesterday, I'm like, I should probably stream today. I should probably get as much time in as I can. Sleep 8 hours and 15 minutes. See, the thing is, if that happened, it would mean that that happens for everybody. And if that happens for everybody, it's probably a bad world that we'd be living in. Because right now, in 24 hours, we generally say, okay, you get 8 hours for sleep, you get 8 hours for work, and you get 8 hours for yourself. Now imagine if we said 1 hour of sleep. Where do the other 7 hours go? And I imagine at least some goes here. It's probably like 10 hours of work and 13 hours for yourself or something. And I don't know if people would like that 10 hours of work idea. For a second, I thought it was Wednesday. Yeah, it's Tuesday. But you should still be happy. You're alive. You're able to watch a stream. Hey, Jedi. So very glad you're back in game dev. Yeah, thank you. I'm glad to be back. When was the last time you were here, Jedi? Oh, wow. It was like a year ago. Welcome back to you, too. A man can dream for 15 minutes. Really only 13. Hey, Uppies. By the way, Uppies, did your name used to be something else? Been a while since a job let me work 8 hours a day despite paying me for that. Yeah, there's a schedule that I think, I don't know if it was popular in China, but it was called the 996 schedule, I think, where you worked from 9 to 9 for 6 days a week. This sounds like as close to torture as you could get for someone like me. And I imagine for a lot of people over there too. 996 schedule. Yeah, this is the thing. Yeah. Nuts. Just nuts. This is so ridiculous. 72 hours per week. Man. Hey, Frostburn. Yeah, the warehouse thing is a great example of the importance of playtesting. Yeah, and this is why I think those user research sessions are important, but also why the feedback we get from players is important. And I think it's good to stay in the loop on that stuff. It was Muncie. Okay, got you. Because I was like, I don't recognize your name, and you were talking the other day like I would have recognized it, and you've been in the stream for a long enough time, so I'm like, they just must have had a different name. Jedi, thanks for the resub. Welcome back. Stuck on step 2 or 3, technically, of the Age Scavenger Hunt. I don't think I'm going to get this. You can ask in Discord. Someone's probably willing to help. All right, skill tooltips should probably use a different color for skill names. Increases damage of poisonous skin. And we have dialogue, highlight, color name. I think we should just write here, this is used, e.g. for skill names in tooltips, item names, or like important words in dialogues, e.g. item names for quests, item rewards for quests. Yeah, so I think let's use that. When am I switching to Neovim? I'm not going to do that. We ain't best friends, but I'm learning. Oh, no, I know. I think we're on the same page, but I just mean if someone came in and it said first time chatter and they're like, hey, Adam, long time no see, I'd be like, okay, you must be somebody else or someone I know in real life and not just someone who came in here for the first time ever. And that's happened before. People forget their Twitch accounts. They come in on a new account. It is very tough as a streamer to have someone who's in chat for like 2 years a while ago and then change names and for me to remember the context I had from 2 years ago. That's difficult. Absolutely love it. I used to work 5 days a week. After talking to my boss, he was cool with me cutting back. I think that's good if everyone's on the same page. Because this idea of like, what about a 4-day work week in a company like Google, let's say, you know that it's 4 days, your manager knows that it's 4 days, but no one else knows that it's 4 days. So now people still expect 5 days out of you and they're still having meetings when you're not there. So like, are you kind of working on those days that you're not supposed to work there? And that's why I never really ended up trying it because I heard some stories of people who were like, yeah, I'm supposed to work 4 days and I work 4.75 or something. It's like, well, that's not a good trade-off because they're definitely only paying you 80%. All right, so any skill tooltips that reference a name, which should be easy enough to find because we have an API for it. Yeah, it's this. Get the dot display name here. And as long as this all fits on one line, we should just be able to look through all of these. Yeah, so lethality name. So we just copy this in. Oh, whoops, did it get the reward, the flavor text in there? It did. I wonder if this is a dumb idea, if we should make a function for this. Yeah, we probably should. That way we don't need to import this either. We can just call some like format skill name. Yeah, there. Okay, then we use this from here. Protected string format skill name. Return this. All right, and now let's make sure it looks good before we do this for everything. Because I'm pretty sure it'll look fine, but I'm not positive. So what skill is this? Venomous bite. We got to look at that one. I work like 10 hours a day, on call 524. Corporate America, yeah. Yeah, I think my limit on productivity seems to be about 6 or 7 hours. And I recognize that in an 8-hour office workday, that it's not necessarily you're expected to be productive for all 8 hours, but you're expected to be there for 8 hours so that if people need you or if something comes up, then you can respond to it. But for a while, I thought, man, how are people productive for 8 hours? And probably some people can be, but I think in general, it's like probably 4 hours a day for most people, right? Yeah. All right, so venomous bite. Where is that? Here it is. All right, I'm going to take a picture of this. So what do people think about highlighting skill names in a particular color? So this here. Does this seem like it'd be clear? You'd see this in a bunch of different skills. And it's not going to change color. Like lethality happens to be green. They're all going to be green. W idea. I like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll do this for all of them then. I was going to the office. I get 2 hours tops of productivity. But I think you said that that was not a frequent event, right? Because that's what used to happen for me too. So during COVID, everyone worked from home and then that was the norm. So you eventually found a way to make that productive. But pre-COVID and possibly now for some people, working from home was basically like, oh, I'm taking a sick day or something. And you just probably get nothing done. I think it's just hard to go from whatever your normal work schedule is to, okay, now once every 2 months I'm in the office or once every 2 months I'm sick and I'm home. Or maybe not sick because you shouldn't be working when you're sick anyway, but maybe you had a doctor's appointment or something. Nothing's really wrong. It's just a checkup. And yeah, you find that it's hard to work that day. Yeah. Okay, we got to keep looking for these. Let's open an editor and then just go through all of those. Can I close this and use F4 to go to these, I wonder? Because we did venomous bite. No, not really. You have to click this, I think. Yeah. All right, well, that's fine. This is just going to be format skill name everywhere. I wonder if there's a way to paste. Okay, so here's what I want to do. And I don't know if this is a thing, but I want to paste in such a way that I get this and this around the text that I've highlighted so that I can just paste in the whole function call. I could use find and replace with a regex here, but it'd be tedious and it'd have to be this specifically. Well, maybe it's worth doing that. I don't know. How many of these do I have? Enough. I guess the other thing we could do is write all of the starting bits here and then use a regex to find all the ones that don't have closing parentheses. Person to love work from bed days. Sleep from bed. Hey, Saro. From the perspective of a senior and incredibly proficient dev, what's your realistic timeline on Gen AI in the realm of coding in terms of functionality? Is it fine for small scale problems, but integrating entire existing architecture is difficult? Is useful for things like automating unit tests? Is its peak just like Copilot as IntelliSense? Timeline in terms of functionality. Okay, so here's the problem, and I kind of just mentioned this yesterday. I'm not plugged into the progression of AI right now. So for timeline, I'd be unable to answer that. But I mentioned this. We were talking about, I had an interview with my friend Sharon, who's a product manager at Copilot. And one of the things that she said, because I asked her about the roadmap, and I trust that she's much more plugged into this stuff. And she said, it's so hard to predict what's going to happen, let's say 2 years from now, because AI feeds into itself and allows you to build faster and faster and faster. So they said they don't try to plan that far out in advance. So for someone like me who's not plugged in, it's going to be even harder for me to figure out, okay, where will we be then? I think it'll still continue to improve. I don't think we've hit a ceiling or anything. Apparently, Mark Zuckerberg said that by the end of this year, we will have at least one like medium level engineer AI, and it'll probably be expensive to run. And I totally believe that. I think that's reasonable. So the way things typically work in a lot of tech is you prove something is possible, but it's incredibly expensive. And then you keep iterating on the cost until it's in people's hands. And you see this happening with things like the, what do they call it, the Apple Vision Pro or something. It was like $3,500, right? There's no way this can catch on in a major way without that price dropping. But if it does get to maybe 2,000 or maybe like 1,400 or something, then maybe it'll start to permeate general consumer tech. But right now it's like expensive tech gadget. So yeah, I think you'll see the same thing happen with AI. It'll get better. It'll get, I mean, cheaper for major companies to run. I don't know what level that'll be, but when you're talking about developer salaries, if you could pay 10K for a pretty good AI to replace some of your junior engineers, some people are going to start to consider that. And 10,000 per year might be a good profit margin for a company. Started going a couple days every other month. Yeah. So we're going 2 to 3 days a week. Those days I wouldn't do a lot of my tasks. Oh, interesting. Okay, so even when you would go frequently. Yeah, there are more distractions in the office. I think a lot of it is blocking them out, having headphones, having good boundaries. You can always highlight the variable, press parenthesis, which puts them around, then paste the function in front. Yeah, that's true. But it'll still be multiple key presses. But yeah, you're right. Wait, what's this about, Kevin? Can you link me something over Discord? Because I have not heard about this. I don't follow Mark Zuckerberg. I only heard about this through the stream. I don't really follow any CEOs, I guess. Yeah. Replace juniors, so no seniors in the end. Yeah, I think some companies aren't going to care about that. And to be fair, most small to medium sized companies probably don't need to care about that too much. But I think for most big companies, they want there to be a healthy amount of different levels of seniority. Because yeah, otherwise, how are you going to grow people onto your product? And most big tech companies struggle with this problem in general, which is just the CS pipeline. Like, how do you get programmers into your job if you've exhausted all of the sources of them in the world? And it's like, okay, well, you go create more sources. So you start funding scholarships and you whatever, you get more computer scientists out there in the world. So yeah, I think the same thing's going to happen for senior engineers, where they're going to be like, huh, well, we solved the junior problem. Now we need either AI to get better, or we need to hire junior engineers again to learn from AI. It's basically 80 to 90% of the same existing VR headsets, 10x the price. Well, part of that's sort of the Apple philosophy, and part of it is I think it is pretty polished tech from what I've heard. I haven't used it myself, but I read some reviews and everything. They didn't allow you to have drinks at your desk. Okay, that's bizarre. I don't think you should have to get up to drink water every 2 minutes. All right, so we got to do this on all of these. Is this easier for me? Yeah. Maybe I'll follow what Toulouse said here. And maybe I should, to some extent, use the regex way of doing this. Let's see what that would be like. So we search for slash curly brace slash W plus slash curly brace and then parentheses around this and hit the regex button. Lone quantifier brackets. Okay, hold on a second. Let's delete that. There. There. How do you do capturing groups in this? VS Code find replace regex capture group. I don't know. Use parentheses to create capture groups. Yeah. But why didn't that seem to work? It said something about. Oh, there we go. Yeah, never mind. I'm being stupid. Okay, so now if we press enter, we find this one. So now what I could do is I could replace this with format skill name parenthesis $1 like this. And then what button do you press to actually do this? Replace, enter. Okay, yeah. So if I press enter here, nice. All right, well, that'll work. Let's do that instead, I guess. So now we need to search for, oh man. All right, there, yeah. All right, so I've already done those three. We're just gonna keep working our way through this list. Nice. All right, this is much faster. Got it. Whoops, go back up to here. We could actually have searched for the word name because they always contain name, but I'm not positive that's going to be the case for all of these. There we go. Actually, see, this is the kind of thing I'd love to trust to AI, but I expect it to do it wrong, so I don't even give it a shot. Yeah, my usage of Copilot has mostly been for IntelliSense Plus, as Sarah was mentioning. Okay, cool. Well, we're getting through this. And if anyone plays the game on Friday and notices that I forgot one of these, please do let me know. But we'll try to take a look. We've got to be almost done with this. I don't remember how many of these there were, but it shouldn't be that many. No, we're like halfway through. Are you kidding me? Well, I'm glad we did the regex way then. I'll read chat again in a bit. I just need to focus for long enough on this. Holy Light, Shield Bash, Double Strike. Crush. Oh, fun stuff. Yeah, I think this is the problem with having skills in any game. You make a change to one skill and you're like, oh, I want this on all of them, and now you need to go modify like 400 things. In this case, it's not too bad because these are only skills that reference other skills. And thankfully, I'm only doing this the one time. All right, what is this? Get ability string. This is a debug function. This is this is debug. All this stuff is debug. We're at the max level. What? What is this? Level up adventure? I don't think that should ever happen. Hired the whatever. We could highlight that too. I don't really care about that. Anything else we have here? No, none of this stuff. I think we're finished. Yeah, I think we're finished. Okay, let's try it out. All right, what am I missing, chat? Oh yeah, I think I saw that. Companies ultimately want to solve the human problem. Yeah, they do. Sounds like a great place to quit. Are you talking about Meta? I might have missed that. The drinks at your desk thing. Yeah, this is the problem with me jumping back in text. Yeah, I was putting the end parentheses after that. Yep. That was the problem. Hey, Green Stack, I enjoy seeing your code structure. Gives me ideas for how to implement things in my own game, and I like learning different approaches. Back to lurking. Yeah, if you like this, I'd say look up more design patterns because design patterns are meant to be, hey, you have general problem A, here's how to solve it with general solution B. And in a way that other people will recognize when they see. And also that just has the entire thinking of computer science behind it too, which is nice. I mean, we kind of already have mass market cheaper alternatives. Yeah, that's true. I feel like they're in slightly different spaces. I don't know how much Apple's trying to position themselves for the gaming market, whereas I feel like a lot of VR headsets are kind of only for the gaming market. I feel like AI just made most people realize they could find their answers on the internet. Kind of strange. Well, it also made it way easier to find those answers. It used to be you would search for something, and then if you had a follow-up question, it was really hard to construct a query that would find it from your original query. Now you could say something like, "Hey, how does a snake eat an egg?" And maybe you're like, "Okay, and what does it do when it eats two eggs at once or something?" I don't know. Like, how many eggs is too much for a snake? And yeah, being able to ask those follow-up questions, I think makes it easier. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you're talking about with AI here, Codex, but I think it's probably worth giving it a shot every once in a while. And then, yeah, if it fails, just not using it. But it's failed enough times where I'm like, I'll just reach for the manual way of doing things. You can change the model of Claude. I apparently do have access because I've saw that here. But I thought Claude was run by a different company. Yeah. So how is this being offered by GitHub? Yeah. Hey, playing with scissors. Not even AI, just find and replace. Yeah. Well, it didn't take too long to do this. It's like a wiki page you can ask a question to. Yeah. It's run on Azure. Yeah, maybe that's why they do it because they're still getting something from it. I assume there'd be some extra cost with doing that, but maybe, yeah, maybe they work something out with it. Anyway, okay, so we have this change. Now we need to grant most things and then just look at the tooltips. Causes your quick strike to be faster, cloak of shadows, quick strike, cloak of shadows, quick strike, quick strike, and execute. Yep, all those look good. Let me put this over here so you can also see all of them. Lightning zaps, fireball, mental swiftness. Yep. 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 This didn't highlight itself, should it? I don't know. What do you all think? Should it say ice blast in green? Because the same thing would have to happen for stalagmite too. I think it should. Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. So ice blast, stalagmite, ice blast, stalagmite. I'm just writing down the offenders for right now. We will take a look at a bit at all of them. Taunt is active when crush misses. Yep. Crush, good. Ah, counterattack in Swords Up. So Swords Up needs to change. Counterattacking. This is the English word counterattacking, not the skill name counterattack. Maybe it should say using counterattack. Yeah, I think concussive blow should be changed. Change wording to say using counterattack so that it can be green. Okay, all that looks good. Using heal, blessing of haste. That's fine. Casting heal, blessing of haste, resonant healing. Do these need to be changed? I haven't been looking at these. Actually, I should be looking at these. No, all those are fine so far. That's fine. And that's fine. Cool. Okay, on to the Witch Doctor. Looks good so far. Yep. Yep, looks good. Paladin. Okay, good. Shield Bash, Holy Light. Holy Light, Shield Bash, Holy Light. This one's like a wall of green. Whenever you heal with Holy Light, use Shield Bash. This extra Shield Bash can be affected by Double Strike. I really think this sort of thing helps so that you're like, oh, those are skills, and you know what to go look at. So I'm pretty happy with that. Now over here, I'm expecting Quick Shot is going to be a problem. So we'll just have to write that one down. No, it's not. Okay, so it's just these that I have written down. 4 of them. Apparently uses Amazon. Copilot will also have Gemini access, so apparently they're just going to support everything. Wow. I mean, I guess they're getting money either way, but yeah, I should probably try Claude out. Anything need to be done to localize these, or that's a future issue? Yeah, we'll have to move these to localize. Well, like, what's going on with this? We'll have to move these to different files. I'll take a look at this. Here. So the final format we're going to need for this, it's going to look something like this, where you have a .en.po file and it's got an ID and then the string for it. And there are ways of formatting this stuff too. I think there's an example in here somewhere. I don't see it right off the top of my head, but it's possible. But yeah, I'm not going to worry about that yet. All right, Ice Blast. So grants the format skill name ability. Okay, there, that one's done. Stalagmite. And Swords Up. Chance to counterattack. Yeah, this wasn't turned into a variable, so we couldn't find it. Counterattack name. Counterattack name. And then the final thing was, I think, concussive blow. Where'd that tab go? There it is, concussive blow. And it should say using counterattack name. Increase the power of that. Yep. Cool. Cool. All right, now let's go verify those 4 abilities we just modified. Hover over the tooltip to get a tooltip for the green text. Yeah, that's something like Baldur's Gate 3 did that. You could hover over tooltips to see what you don't know. I like how games like Slay the Spire and Hearthstone do it. They don't have that concept, but what they do have is... Can I show this in here or not? Yeah, when you hover over something that has keywords, it automatically puts what the keywords do off to the side. Now, I don't think we have such a complex game that we need to do that. But if we did, I think that's a pretty elegant way of doing it. So it's not like, okay, I hover over the card to see this, then I have to like hold some button or something to go see the card itself. And even Hearthstone doesn't do it with some cards that generate other cards, which I imagine would be confusing for a lot of players. So it's not perfect. You could format HTML text with tags. Yeah, if we were doing something like HTML here, I think that would, you'd see me do this probably a little differently. Although I'd probably just still use CSS for this stuff. But what we have instead is BB code, which was used on a lot of old forums back in the day. It's still sort of like HTML in that you'd write bold text like this. It just uses a different format and different names for the tags. I have not played Balatro yet, no. All right, so we only modified 4 of these, so let's just go look at the 4. 2 were on the mage. Looks good. Looks good. 1 was on the warrior, concussive blow. Oh no, 2 were on the warrior. Yeah, nice. We're done. All right, just like 40 files changed. I'm gonna scan through this very quickly because that's all that should have changed here. Yeah. This is a good way of making sure we didn't highlight anything we shouldn't have. Yep, yep, yep. We're about halfway through. Like I said, I'm going through this very quickly. If this were actual code I change and not just formatting stuff, I would be looking at it much more closely. I don't see any issues so far. Still good, good, good. All right, cool. Highlight skill names green. This affects what, like half the abilities in the game? I don't know. A bunch of abilities. We don't need to write an exact number. I think it will add a little bit of clarity to the skills. And then is this part of an issue? I don't recall. No, I don't think I ever had it as part of an issue. Okie doke. Can I, in good conscience, recommend playing Balatro if you value your free time? Hey, Cube Miser, I saw you in the Godot Discord. I was scrolling through some messages, and I'm like, oh, it's Cube Miser. Don't see any issues so far. Famous last words. Well, with this stuff, I mean, kind of the worst thing that could go wrong is either we don't highlight something green that should be green, or we do highlight something green that shouldn't be green. And in both cases, they're pretty minor. And probably people will report them. And I'd like to ask someone to look over this stuff on maybe Friday or something. Trying to help however I can. Yeah, I think that's very nice of you. All right. So done with that. File an issue about how the end of the game should probably have some way of continuing to play. Yeah, I'm not doing this right now, but do we have something like New Game Plus or something written? Yeah. I don't see it. Maybe End Game. No. Okay, I'll file a new issue. What? This shouldn't really be an issue. It should just be in a design doc, I think. I'll do that. I actually have a coding philosophy question I wanted to discuss with you sometime, but figured it was too detailed to try to ask in chat. We'll probably post it in your Discord. Okay, yeah, and let me know if you want me to respond while I'm streaming, because I can take a look at the message. Okay, where do we write this? Customer ideas, boss ideas, item ideas, probably just under ideas. I think we might even have this written down somewhere. New game NG plus end game. All right, I don't know. Whatever. Let's write it down. End game slash new game plus. All right, what does this say on it? The end of the game should probably have some way of continuing to play. I don't think a new game plus makes sense, but perhaps giving the player some difficult challenges and allowing for more growth. I'll clean up the text a little bit. Maybe a new game plus does make sense somehow. Something like item values are 50%, but you get all adventures from the beginning. Yeah, in my mind, the priorities are release a fun game and then worry about the end game. Because if people feel like, okay, I played, I got my money's worth, that was fun, then that's needed before they're going to care about the end game. If you're not having fun, you're not gonna get to the end of the game. And then if you do, you're not going to continue to play. And I don't think more content is always better. Like I was just playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and I don't think it's a bad game by any means. I just I just stopped playing after like 20 hours. And the way I was playing probably would have made it so that I had like 60 more hours to go. And I just didn't feel like putting in that time. And like I said, it wasn't an unfun game. But if the game had only lasted 20 hours, I think other people probably would have been upset given the genre. I don't think they'd be as upset in this genre, maybe. All right, add 2 pre-dragon quests and make the dragon harder. Yeah. We only have so many items. Quest data. Okay, pre-dragon quest. Let's look at what items we can even pull from here. I'm just gonna copy them all down, I guess. So we have that, that, that. Boots. Big life potion. I guess we don't need to copy that thing. Crypt doesn't count, and that's it. That's all we have. We have 5 items. I think that's right. Because it's only here, here, here. Yeah. And we're probably already using most of them. No, boots are there. No, boots do count, right? Boots are in the jungle, yeah. But demon helmet is not there. So yeah, so we need 2 more quests between here to do insert 2 quests here. Because this will be before the dragon. And we have 2 kind of starter quests here. 30 and 50. This is how much gold they generally require. So it's asking for 10 blue potions and they're worth 3 gold each. So it's like costing you 30 gold. And the benefit is 1 stat multiplier. So it's like 1 power and 10 health. This is 2 power and 20 health. So that's what these numbers mean. We need more quests to be before the dragon and then to make the dragon a little bit harder. And that way you have a little bit more of a sense of power progression. So all we need to figure out here is like what's a good amount of money to charge. Well, maybe we put one in between these that's worth like 100. Where do you get the cloak from? The volcano. We also have some yellow potions there. So maybe what we do is we require you to go to some combination of... Actually, maybe what we do is... we can't do that. You can say we could just require cloaks and let you go to either location and have it cost probably about 100. Okay. And then we need 1 more quest. And maybe this one can offer 2 stat points. And then this one should require probably all the stuff that drops here. So some combination of boots, life potions, boots, life potion, and then maybe something from an earlier instance just to make it a bit easier for you. So maybe this too. Oh, but that's what this one requires as well. So the whole make it easier for you thing would be for the next one, I guess. Big life potion. Okay, let's try that. And then I'll just say something here like, oh, wait a second. All these are before the dragon. Quests you can do before the dragon. Quests you can do after the dragon. FF7 is weird because it's a more story-driven game with limited choice and grindy combat. Story-driven games are now choices matter and quick time events. There is a dragon now. It's a boss. I'll show you in just a sec. I don't think it's weird. I think I don't know if I'd classify it as a JRPG, even though it literally is an RPG made in Japan. But when I think JRPG, I think I really think grindiness is the defining factor. And I don't feel like Final Fantasy VII is grindy. I think there's a lot of stuff you can do, but I don't think you have to do it. By the way, they do just have a ton of content, and it is new content, and there is a lot of just cinematic content, and I'm impressed by everything they did. It is quite a feat of making a game. it's just they did a really good job. I just kind of got a little bored of it, I guess. And I think that has more to do with that it's a sequel than anything else. Sequel in this case, not meaning that it's the seventh Final Fantasy, that it's the second Final Fantasy VII remake. Probably really hard to track the timeline of all the games in this. Okay, so first I want to show playing with scissors the dragon. The dragon is a character that is meant to be the anti-summoner class because it shoots fireballs at everything, which means it'll kill all of your zombies in one hit. Why is it not shooting fireballs? There it goes. Yeah. But yeah, we were going to look at quests. So let's take a look at quests. Say your potion shopkeep wants some potions for themselves. They're offering fresh baked pie if you collect the items they want. We could put what the items they want would be here. Although we only know them at the time we generate the quest. A lot more than 15 and 16. Yeah, I haven't played 15 or 16. I guess I just don't categorize the game as being like hyper grindy. And there are lots of games like that. Like Octopath Traveler I felt was pretty grindy. All right, so complete current quest. So that's the first one. That takes small blue potions. And it took 9. There's some amount of fuzzing happening there. Now we need to collect blue potions and cloaks. I think that's fine. Then we would need to collect just cloaks, and that's 16 of them. Is that reasonable? So if we complete the volcano, how many do we get? We got 1. Wait, why am I looking at this? We have the data right here. Volcano can drop 1.5 on average, and the jungle drops 1.5 on average. And how many does it require? 16. Yeah, so we need about 10 instances to do that. Is that roughly similar to these? Yeah, I think so. 10. I don't know if that's too much. We could just lower this a little bit. Programmer D, welcome back. Thank you for the resub. This man probably resubbed and is like, why is Adam not saying anything? But I don't see unless you advertise it like that. Are the color of the items in a quest a different color than the skills? No, they're the same color, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because I use the same constant. So if we look at this, I know it's only barely showing there, but it should be the same green color. Actually, wait a second. Does it look different? Is it a font weight thing or maybe a font size thing? It does look different, but I'm nearly positive it's the same color. All right, let's copy this. So there's magic orb. And now let's just write it inside of a skill tooltip. So we'll go get quick strike. And where's the tooltip? Here. We'll write format skill name magic orb. Resubbed a while ago, but just send the message now. Gotcha. Well, hi. Hope your Tuesday's going well. Haven't heard Octopath OST. Have you heard the, what do they call it? Break and boost? Break and boost. Because this is, it's pretty good. I'll share it here. No need to watch it if you don't want to. Okay, so now we go look at this. And we need to take a screenshot. Where'd it go? There. We need to take a screenshot of that so I can't lose this one. So let's paste it here. It looks like they're different. Canvas size. All right. paste this in and move that. What is going on with this stupid thing? I don't know why. Oh, there we go. Yeah, they're different font sizes. I think that's why they look different. Hmm. I wonder if it's worth changing the font sizes so they match. I don't know. I'll just write it down for now. It's definitely not important, but the font size in the skill tooltips doesn't match the one in the quest dialog. Also, the brown letters are different opacity. Oh, yeah. Huh. All right, let's annotate this a little bit. Where's the tool I want? God, I never use GIMP that much. Ah, there it is, pencil. Okay, size much lower, mask, brush, whatever, I want that one. Okay, so down here was the skill. And up here is the quest. There. Beautiful. Now we copy all of that and paste that over here. It looks horrible, but whatever. The text in the skill tooltip doesn't match on the quest dialog. So the skill tooltip has a smaller font, and the quest dialog has, what is that, fainter, like red text. It's not really red. Yeah. Okay, well, anyway, what was I doing before that? Quests? Yeah, let's look at quests again. So that was the first one. We already looked at that. Second one, we looked at that. I think we got to the cloaks one. This time it's 17. It was 16 before. We probably should lower this a little bit then. Instead of 100, make it be 85. Okay, let's look at the one after that. 6 boots, and you can only get one at a time, so that means 6 times running the dungeon. I think it's okay. It could technically be anywhere up to maybe 8 or 9, which is kind of a lot. Then this, we probably need weights on quest items, or ways of increasing how many items you get for each one. Which one is this? This is this one. So it's the final quest before you fight the dragon. So this would be grindy. So maybe we should up the grindiness of this one too. Yeah. We'll say 130. Okay. All right. I'm happy with this. And then the final quest is the infinite quest, I think. So now they're all going to be this one. No, they're going to be random. Oh, I think that's a bug. Yeah, it's only ever picking one item. Oh no, that's not a bug. I've only ever seen one item. So if I've seen another item, like if I drag this over here, now quests can start using the red potion too. Yeah, and if I see one more item. So you'd never end up in this situation in the game. You can't. You need to have seen at least 3. I'm just cheating, which is why I can see this. So now it'll pick 3 items. Yeah. And I don't recall if the cost keeps going up. What happens with that? Gold target equals the nearest one's gold target. No, so it's just going to keep using whatever the last one was, which in this case is 300. Okay, that's fine. All right, not bad. We added 2 more quests. Now we need to make the dragon stronger. Okay, this is going to be a little harder to do. So we need to use the battle simulator. And we need to be fighting in the canyon. No, that's not a canyon. It's a crypt. And your level 2 when you're in the crypt, I want to say. And how many quests are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which all grant 1 point except for the last one, so it's actually 6 points. All right, so this is the maximum level of power you can get to. And the best classes to use would be the mage, the rogue, and the archer. And skill-wise, you can literally only have 1 skill point in them, right? I am pretty sure. Yeah, so now you grant... Yep. Yeah, 1 skill point. Okay, so we got to pick that. Yeah, we're simulating. So the rogue will have quicker strike. The mage will have... I don't even know what it's called. Storm intensity, I think. And the archer will have rapid shot. Okay, so this should be the best possible party. And then we want a worse party here. So I'm going to copy this, and we're going to swap out one of these with a witch doctor. Which one? Maybe the mage. And copy these. And for the witch doctor, what skill point should we give them? Probably Vampiric Bite. Okay, make sure they're going to the crypt. So what I'm hoping is that this team wins and this team maybe loses. I'm not sure. I should probably test with slightly fewer quests being done. So like maybe we expect you to have completed 3 quests, but you can complete 5 quests. So 3 quests would be 3 points. This is 5 quests would be 6 points. All right, so 3 quests, what does this look like? Let's try this out. Write something that simulates automatically for you. Oh, we haven't ever actually merged that PR. And I do think it'd be nice. Okay, so what's going to happen here is it will automatically run 200 battles, 100 with my first group and 100 with the second, and tell me the stats. So the first group had a 97% win rate, and the second group had a 62% win rate. We need this to be like 0. Oh, my memories have been faded. Yeah, I think they were somewhat minor. All right, so the dragon needs to be more powerful. All enemy data, dragon. So they do 22 attack power, 1300 life. We can make them stronger by bumping one or both of those stats. Probably damage. Let's bump damage by 2. And let's see how that changes things. So originally the win rates were 97 and 62. 97% with the good party. 62% with the bad party. Dragon with 22 damage and 1300 life. Yeah. So now we're bumping it to 24 damage. We're going to see what that does. 0's messed up. Make it like a 15% win rate. Yeah. We just need it to be lower. That's all. How's your brain fit in that head? Hey, Rose. I don't know if you're talking about the coding stuff, but it's a little more natural when you've been doing it for a while. If you're talking about this battle simulator stuff, I think this makes sense because I have a lot of context in my head about how the battle system works and how this battle simulator was written. In short, what we're trying to do here is make sure that when you go fight the boss that's located in this node, that you're steered toward having the right party. And the only thing in the game that makes you kind of have the right party is the dragon has a fireball attack and it hits everyone, which means that your summoner is going to have all their summons get hit and it should auto kill them. So it should basically point to like, well, don't use the summoner. Oh, you know what else we can do? We can make the attack happen sooner. In fact, it could just be spamming fireballs at you. I kind of wonder if that's more interesting. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Maybe make the fireball attack happen sooner and do less damage. That would be more consistent to get the results that we want, I think. All right, anyway, win rate went down to 69% and 32%. That's probably more in line with what we want. Yeah, I think so. So now what we're going to do is, and this was all with 3 quests. Now we're going to do the exact same thing with 5 quests. Except for, I guess, just look at the win rate over here. So let's have it be 5 quests that are done and try it out. When do you want to look? I posted my question in the coding channel. Okay, let me take a look. All right, as I mentioned, oh, why did it go way over there? As I mentioned in chat, I want to get your impression of oh my God, of a method I'm using to run my turn-based RPG's combat engine and what kinds of problems I might be causing myself if I continue down this path. Relevant parts of this are a battle manager class or scene, which concerns the actual flow of turns, communication with a battle scene class, and the battle data resource class, which contains battle enemy data and battle player data. My battle skill resources, which define what to do with a given command when it's selected in the scene. Buttons created on the fly for those actions. Yeah. Current flow boils down to battle manager sends battle data to battle scene. Let me see. All right, I'm guessing battle scene is the rendering of everything. So we can look up all the info on enemies and players to build the interface and list of commands a player can perform. Battle manager determines turns and, for example, signals the battle scene that it is the player's turn. Battle scene shows the command panel, which is built using the array of battle skill items. I mean, so far this sounds reasonable. Player selects a command, signals that battle skill, and target information back to the manager. Manager sends battle data to the battle skill command, so it can build a callable function to perform on more actions on all data and run it. Okay, this one, let me see. So it building a callable function, I don't think this makes sense. I think battle skill should have a function that takes in all the information. So battle skill would be a class, and I think it would have some like public virtual void use, which takes in something like a, what did you call them? Battle actor data. So the user, and then target or targets, so probably a list of targets. And if there's any other information, I don't know, maybe you're using an item or something. But yeah, I'd probably do something like this. And that way you're not constructing a callable on the fly. You're just passing in data you know is going to exist. And you probably want the battle manager in here too. So something like that is what I'd probably do. Anyway, let me see what the rest of this is. My question and prompt for discussion basically revolves around how bad is this to have all the skills require in-depth knowledge of the running data in order to do the things I'd want, assuming those skill actions need to have a wide variety of effects. I don't think it's bad. I think there are kind of 2 approaches you could have here. One is like have custom code for each skill, and 2 is try to do a data-driven approach and make the effects more generic. And even then, I think it's a little bit tough to do. And it all depends on how many skills you're going to have too. So I opted for this route for now. But if we were to generify what we've done, we could probably have some general, like, there would be a deal damage function, there'd be like a create effect function, there'd be a whole bunch of different things. I think part of the problem is timing this with animations too. That makes it a little bit harder to do a data-driven approach. As an example, we have projectiles, so like a fireball, and the fireball gets cast, and then it has travel time, and then it hits the enemy. And it doesn't actually do damage till it hits the enemy. So, but we might have had something happen in travel. Maybe in travel it creates more projectiles and those go hit the enemy or something. Like with a data-driven approach, it'd be hard to make a projectile shoot other projectiles. But then again, you could always code that, expose it as a function, and then parameterize it. Battle skill actually has an array of battle action resources. Oh, I didn't mean to pop this open. Hang on a second. Battle action. I don't know what battle action is according to what you have here. Yeah, so I'm not sure what that is. So it's really being built as a callable as a series of actions. Those are all custom. Yeah, I mean, your approach will work. I don't know it's necessary because like I said, I think all of your skills will know what they're supposed to do. So it's reasonable to just code those in the skill classes themselves. Yeah. Anyway, that's my quick input at least. And I guess to sort of back that up with what we have here, if you look at something like, I don't know, Quick Strike, for example, it's an ability, so it has a use command or a use function. It takes in the user and it takes in the battle system. This works a little differently from yours in that you don't have to pick targets, but that's what the ability is going to do. So it picks a target, makes sure the target exists, and then figures out how much damage it should do and applies any extra effects. So it can debuff the enemy. It needs to create a little graphic on the enemy. It needs to play a sound, those sorts of things. Anyway, our new thing ran, so let's take a look at what the win rates are. 100% and 100%. That's a little bit crazy, right? How did it end up with 100% just by getting like 3 more stat points? Something feels off about this. We had 3 stat points there and we have 6 stat points here. Those extra 3 stat points mattered? Quest reward points. Life per quest reward point times reward points. Yeah, wild. What? It's 30 more life and 3 more power. Did we... And then these... Oh, I think I know what might be going on. I think that amount of life probably pushes the Witch Doctor to not have the zombies die in one hit. They may have been one hit away. Oh, they're winning in these battles, so the enemies are at 0% life. We know that for sure. And the party is at like 30% life in both cases. 30% life here, 30% life here. We keep track of the Witch Doctor's DPS though, and it is very low. But I bet their zombies aren't dying. That's still my guess. How do we confirm that? Let's look at this. All adventurer data. Witch Doctor. We could just figure it out. It has 190 life. 190 life plus 60, so 250 life total. When we summon a zombie, how much life are they given? Percent health of summoner is a quarter. So 250 divided by 4, 62.5 life. I don't know what we do in the case that it is a fraction. We probably just allow it to be a fraction. Yeah, so it's probably exactly 62.5. And then the dragon uses some fire burst spell. I don't know what it's called. Fire barrage, which has a power scaling of 1.6. So 1.6 times the power of the dragon, which is 24, is 38.4. Oh, but zombies automatically start dying on their own. So it is not enough to kill them. But without the 60 life, it would have only been 30 life. So it would have been 220 divided by 4. So 55 life instead of 62.5. I don't think that 7.5 is making much of a difference, but it might be the difference in like 1 tick of survivability. Hey, Batman. Felt like a medley done to promote an instrument pack for FL Studio. Yeah, it's totally fine. I think everyone has different tastes. I liked that it's something I've heard before, but it's still a little different. And I think it aims for a little bit more dissonance than the original tracks. Oh, the other simulation that wasn't 100% win rate. I see. Yeah. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to change Fire Barrage, and we're going to make it happen twice as often, or roughly twice as often. I think 4.6 is probably good here. And then lower the power scaling to half. Yeah. And then see if this changes anything. It shouldn't. It might, though, because of the timing of summons. Oh, man. I mean, the Witch Doctor is doing very little damage. I guess just the other characters aren't dying. Yeah. OST is perfect as it is. Yeah, I think it's really good. I think it's even better than the second game, too. All right, still 100% win rate for both of these. The average life remaining did drop a bit. I'm going to run this one again. Yeah, these were our old stats here. And now this is with the faster Fire Barrage. With faster Fire Barrage. Yeah, the level up banner when simulating. I think it's funny that pops up. Batman, thanks for subbing. Welcome, welcome, welcome. First time sub. I appreciate it. All right, win rates plummeted. Yeah. Went to 51% with good party, and bad party had the same. Does this mean the Witch Doctor is doing like nothing? How are they doing any damage? Oh, maybe because of poison. Does that hurt the dragon? Oh. That's probably what's doing this. With that said, it's not really worth worrying about. Their DPS is like, well, it's actually more than half of what the rogue does. Hmm. Such a challenge. We just really punished the win rate of the good party by changing Fire Barrage. I guess it just makes it more consistent that it's gonna kill your main party members. Shouldn't we be able to just see one of these battles play out? I think we can. Just beat next elite. It's gonna spawn 100 of these battles, I think. We can just cheat our way through this. Oh, that leveled them up again, didn't it? Yeah, another rank 3. Now this won't work. Drat. Drat. Okay, well, let's, I guess, not worry about it too much. Oh, wait a second. Is that coming into play here? You level up when you beat an elite. Maybe that's causing future battles to be easier. I'm actually not certain about that. Maybe leveling up mid-fight is causing problems. Hey, human puppet. Okay, this is very important. I did not even think about this. Because you didn't used to level up by killing a boss, and now you do. You do set power level, that resets it. I don't remember. This sets it once ahead of time, but then the battles themselves cause you to level up, which I think will only impact future battles. You know the way we could test this? What we could do is we just ran this and we had... Yeah, we ran this and we had a 32% win rate. So all we need to do is make it so you level up like 10 times at once. Or not even that. We just go to all adventurer data and we change it so that the Witch Doctor has like practically infinite life. But only on level 3, which they shouldn't be getting to. So now if they win that battle, with 100% win rate, we know for sure that there is a bug here. Don't run the first simulation. Yeah, I guess that would also help us. We would have an even lower win rate. Yeah, we could approach this either direction, I guess. All right, so first one should remain pretty much unchanged. There's some variance. I don't care about that. Excuse me. Second one, I expect to be at 100% now. It's not. I don't get it. Yeah, I don't get it. Where do we do the level up thing? On battle 1. Level up. Stat computations on level of adventurers. Add a level. Reflect the tavern bonuses, so modify their power. This definitely is called because we end up with another skill point for those characters, right? No, we don't. I'm so confused. Oh, I know what's happening. Yeah, I know what's happening. You level based on how many unique elite monsters you've defeated. So we're setting them to level 2 when they were already level 2. But actually, what would happen is if we had tried simulating them at level, let's say 7, they would actually still go back down to level 2. So yes, this is a problem, but it's a problem in the wrong direction. So we don't want to level up adventures if we're simulating a battle. That's the conclusion. If battle simulator dot is simulating. So if you're not simulating, level them up. Yep. Yep. Because the level up doesn't have any other impact. Unless, no, yeah, it doesn't. All right, and we can confirm this. So we got a win rate of like 28%. And before that, we got a win rate of 32%. So it's like 28 to 32%. If we just get rid of the first simulation, like Kevin is suggesting, I think it should still be in that range and that there are no real problems that were caused by this particular scenario. But there could have been in the future if we had a higher level or if we fought many bosses. So we're only going to see 1, and I expect this number to be hovering around 30%. So if it is around 30%, then we were simulating correctly this whole time. It's 24%. That might be close enough to the range we were getting. You're seeing 24 to 32. I'll run it, or sorry, 28 to 32. I'll run it one more time. And this time, yeah, it's 28%. Yeah, so I don't think this mattered. Or yeah, run the same one in a row a bunch of times. In I equals 0, I is less than 10. Sure, let's do this like 5 times. Oh, forgot an opening curly brace. Yeah, they should all be in the same general range. Let's see. So first one is 25%. Like I said, I expect them all to be in the 25 to 30-ish region. 24%. Yep. Yeah, it takes about 8.5 seconds between these times. Next one's 29%. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong here. I do think we fixed a bug just now, and I think I should check that in. Stop auto leveling during battle simulations. This could have caused a problem if we were simulating high level battles and then defeated a boss, it would have down leveled the characters to level 2, I believe. All right, well, anyway, looking at the stats here, we used to win quite a lot, and then I changed Fire Barrage and we won less. So I think let's just revert the change to Fire Barrage and just keep the stat change that we had. Yeah. So revert this. And revert that. And maybe we could just test out what happens if we change the parameters of the dragon a little bit more. Maybe like 1 more damage. I don't know what that would do. Let's up it 1 more. 25. And try this maybe 1 or 2 more times. So now we don't want this to play out 5 times. So this is only having done 3 quests. Just debating on this is for the demo. We've added in 2 more quests and we kind of expect you to get them, but you don't require them. And I was just thinking, what does it mean if you have a 10% win rate, you can just auto battle. So you could just leave your computer and you're basically guaranteed to have won by the time you come back. If you have a 0.01% win rate, then you're not guaranteed. It might take you so long that it's just not worth it. So now the win rate is 71% versus 5%. Okay, this is very good. So yes, increasing damage is all we needed to do. And now if we increase the number of quests that we've done, instead of being, what was it, 71 and 5, 71% with good, 5% with bad. This is 25 damage, slower fire barrage. And this was with 3 quests. So now this one's with 5 quests. And the numbers are 100%, which is good, obviously. And the next one is 95%. Which I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. It's basically saying that you can get rid of any sort of difficulty by using quests, which is kind of what the point of them was. So you know what? Maybe this is fine. Yeah, I think this is good. And you might have different skills used too. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. I don't think we check in any of this stuff. I don't really need to keep it around. Maybe try 26 damage. I'm okay with it for now. I think we'll leave it at that. I don't want to be tinkering with this for too long. We could always run this again in the future. Add more quests or like rebalance dragon fight. I added 2 more quests so that there's more of a potential power variance between what you are and what you could be. To compensate for that, I made the dragon stronger. I ran some simulations, and a party with the witch doctor has a 5% chance to win if you've only done 3 quests, but doing all 5 bumps that to a 95% chance. The other thing we could do, we have so many variables we could tweak here. The other thing we could do is we could change the quest to, instead of giving you 2 stat points, the final one, it could only grant you 1 stat point. And, whoops, sorry, I'm highlighting the wrong thing. This one, it would only grant you 1 stat point. In that case, you'd have 10 less life and 1 less power. So it would be some difference over the course of 10,000 battles. I don't know what it would be, but I'm not going to continue to test this. So that's that change. Good. Okay, I'm going to take another break, and then we're going to finish up a little bit more. So I'll be back in a little bit. Is it jump time? It's jump time. again, close the game. All right, let's see. Clarify the vault description since it's been confusing to people. I think people are understanding it to be an item recovery for when workers can't reach an item. Yeah, we use the word access and people are misinterpreting that. Again, I don't blame the people playing it. I think we need to change this. Allows you to store items that your workers can't access. How about allows you to store items, allows you and not your workers or adventurers to store and retrieve items. Is that clear? Hey, two dorks. I was watching your stream yesterday. I only caught the tail end of like maybe 7 minutes or something. And it sounded like you guys were winding down. So I missed the bulk of the conversation. But I was there. Today's a Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. Off day stream. Good day. Good day to you too, Oppressal. Thanks for swinging by regardless. Yeah. I like to see what's going on. I also like the stream aesthetic, the TVs. I think of that style of stream as almost like a televised conversation between friends, which is probably what it is. Although, like I said, I only saw a bit of it. And I wonder how that changes the dynamic of how you talk about things. I understand it feels weird though. It feels weird in terms of why would you want this thing, or in terms of why is it phrased this way? Allows only you and not your workers or adventurers to store and retrieve items. Maybe, hang on, what does this say? Allows you to store items. Maybe the same general phrasing. Let's try that. Allows you to store items that only you can access, i.e. your workers and adventurers will never take items from your vault. Is that better? No need to take time away from your stream again, but I did post more info regarding my issue. Sounds like what I'm doing doesn't seem too terrible from what you said. Maybe it's more complicated than it needs to be. Yeah, and really only the part about building a custom callable from the skills. I guess the way I would look at it is, if a function can be written at compile time, write it then, instead of making it a callable. And I think they can all be built at compile time. All right, allows you to store items that only you can access. Yeah, I should say just stores items that only you can access. Yeah, I think that'll make it clearer. I think this is good. Let's see. Yeah. And again, maybe we end up producing something that's not quite right, and then people give feedback, and then we make it a little bit better in the future. Stores items only you can access, i.e. your workers and adventurers will never take items from your vault. Okay. And then this is just add one more storage item. Okay, so I like that. There is a very, very large problem, which is the vault doesn't really have a purpose. So it exists in the game from when we had the old style enchanter, which would take items and give battle buffs. And that's not how it works anymore. So the only real reason to keep it is for customer desires. Like if we speed this up a bit and get this and get some of these. Okay, eventually you will see customers that want a particular thing. Just waiting for it to happen. It's not going to happen. Not even cheating the customers. Ah, there we go. Okay, yeah. So this customer wants a blue potion. That is the only real reason to keep something in your vault right now. Like maybe you have exactly what they want and now you take it and I guess you give it to them or something. But other than that, there's really not much of a reason. Did I draw that myself? No, no, no. I don't do the artwork for this stuff. That was Quickie Joe who drew that. Maybe something more LARPy, like beware your workers. Well, but the signs have to be strictly informative. I think if we said something like beware your workers cannot access this, like that's the whole purpose of the vault. But like I said, I don't think there's a reason for this to exist. It's been coded and everything, so I'd like there to be a reason for it to exist. I'm not going to keep it if we end up getting done with the game and there is no reason for this. But for the demo, could there be something? No, there's not really a reason right now. I was also trying to think about this the other day in terms of just item production and consumption. Let me just file an issue about the vault if we don't already have one. No, we don't. Consider scrapping the vault. Originally, it was oh, there were also quest items. It only really had 3 purposes, none of which were super compelling. Store potential quest items. Store items you may want to disenchant. And store items that customers may eventually desire. If when we get ready to launch, these still aren't compelling, then maybe just delete the vault entirely. Yeah, pre-launch. Okay. All right. Well, the description is better. Let's at least check that in. Improve vault sign description. People were interpreting the old wording to mean that the items were in some part of the map that your workers couldn't get to. And that they would be transported directly to the vault. Now, yeah. Now it should be clearer that it's something that you have to manually interact with. Okay, quick little thought experiment. Skeleseller is an economy game at its core, I feel. There's battling to get items, then you sell the items, then you use the money to buy stuff. This is intended to be simple and reductive. So there are 2 things to consider: production and consumption. And I guess maybe to some extent like a transformation inside of there. So production's pretty obvious. This is battling gives you items. That's actually the only way you can get items. There are no other ways to get items. Consumption is in the form of customers making purchases and quest progress, and that's it. There is no other form of consumption. And transformation, this doesn't exist right now. So based on what everyone said about the game, we're going to need more systems. And not for the demo. I think the demo is fine. The demo is like an hour of gameplay, and you can only throw so many systems in 1 hour before you overwhelm the player. So I think the demo is okay. I think what I want to focus on is this transformation is kind of just a means of consuming an item or consuming a set of items to produce a new set. And in that sense, it's not really different from just combining production and consumption. But it could be something like crafting. Take 3 small blue potions and get a medium blue potion. I want to think about what these systems could look like and still be fun. Like another idea that I had is imagine some like value amplifier. You throw an item in, and over the course of a minute, its value goes up by 100%. Like that sort of thing is an interesting idea. So now instead of selling an item, you want to run them all through your value amplifier. I'm just naming this value amplifier. Maybe it's a refinery or something like that. And maybe you can only throw in weapons and armor or something. But like this is a cool idea. It's another aspect of selling stuff, and it just gives you money. And after you've sold some number of items, it's paid for itself, and then afterward, it's just making you money. And actually, I want to write this down because I like this idea. When pondering new systems for Skeleseller, consider a refinery. You would just throw an item in, and you'd see a progress bar indicating that it's being refined. At various steps along the way, it could visibly increase in value. So now this would be a way of increasing the costs or increasing the sell amounts of some items. Would need to think about how you're interacting with this. Are you dragging items there? Do workers interact with it automatically? Yeah. Is there a special category of worker that will add items there? I don't know. I like the idea though. I think it's cool. I think it'd be something that has upgrades itself. Consider production versus consumption versus transformation. Consuming an item to produce a new one, e.g. a refinery. For crafting, I think the way you typically understand crafting is that you're taking multiple ingredients and forming something else. It's not always that way. Sometimes it is just one item and it turns into some other output. But typically, yeah, it's multiple items and it turns to some output. And in Skeleseller, like I said, the basic way of doing this would be take 3 of this potion and get a different kind of potion out of it. The reason why you do that, though, is all based on what your consumption is in the game, which is just customers making purchases or quest progress. So maybe you have quests that require an item you have to craft. I don't think that would be fun. But if it's only customers making purchases, then all these systems are going to do is increase the amount of money you get. So I feel like we might need another form of consumption somehow, and I need to figure out what that's going to be. Production is just battles give items. Consumption is customers and quests. Transformation. Without more means of consumption, it's probably not all that interesting to add crafting. It would either give you more money per item or quests would start requiring crafted items. I don't want to keep talking about this too much longer, but the reason I think about this stuff is that the game is very laid back and all this stuff is kind of happening for you anyway. So if I just click grant items, like eventually a worker will come and pick up an item and then put it into a shop. And you don't have to instruct it to go do that. You don't have to say like, no, only take the red potions, not the blue potions. It doesn't matter. It's going to do what is good for your town, even if it's not what's best for your town. But if you start having many different ways of consuming an item, you might want to say, okay, now focus on this thing and now focus on this thing. And you need some way of managing your workers to do that stuff. And we can give you those tools, but it does complicate the game. And I just want to think about that. But I don't think that's a problem for now. What do we have on the list? Notification bar, make it thinner and less obvious. Difference between the fonts, use the main font for level up. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's probably it for today's stream. We made a decent amount of progress. I'll fill out the journal. Why does this take so long? There we go. Only streamed in the morning. Did more launch prep. What is anything that we did? Did it take up like the bulk of the day? What did we work on? Highlight skill names, stop auto leveling, rebalance the dragon fight, improve signage, clarify signage, hopefully clarify text, show quest flavor text, fix a bug, make a tooltip clear. Yeah, it was mostly clarity things. It's kind of weird that 3.5 hours went into that. Just doesn't feel like a lot. So, well, that's what we did. All right, let's go find someone to raid. I will stream again tomorrow. The rest of today, if I'm working, I'm going to work off stream. All right, I just want to look through my list quickly, but I'm raiding Kiboga. Yeah. Kid's a great streamer, very entertaining, does very different stuff from game development. Oh yeah, occasionally does development. He's a scam baiter, and he is doing scam baiting content today. And probably most of you already know about Kiboga. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. If you don't mind, please do wishlist the game on Steam, and I'll be back on Wednesday. See you later. Bye, everybody.